Against the Lions, everything's on the table. Coach Matt Nagy told reporters today that Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, all under consideration to start after the disaster of a performance in the loss to the Browns yesterday. Fields had a rough go in place of the injured Dalton. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
Everybody has their opinion and their connotation and context about what Matt Nagy did. The worst thing Matt Nagy did was put his entire team in a bad situation. Matt Nagy lost his mind yesterday as a head coach in the NFL, and it's probably going to cost him his job.
Chiefs coach Andy Reid released from the hospital after being treated for dehydration. The team expects him to return to work soon. NBA Pelicans expect Zion Williamson back for the start of the regular season following off-season surgery on a broken right foot. No Kyrie Irving at Nets Media Day at Barclays Center today because of New York City's COVID-19 protocols. He did attend remotely. He, however, wouldn't discuss his vaccination status or his intention in dealing with the matter.
Introducing Barbasol 1919 Classic Shaving Cream, paying homage to the original invented over 100 years ago. This new non-aerosol formula features enhanced ingredients, an exceptional glide, and crisp fragrance for a shave experience like no other. Learn more at Barbasol.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here, glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. What a weekend. Tigers win, Saints win, beautiful weather, all in all. Not a whole heck of a lot to complain about. So we will delve into it over the next 3 hours. Adam Amin, who was on the call for Saints Patriots yesterday on Fox, he'll be with us in hour number 3. Cole Cubelic next hour. We'll recap the goings-on around the Southeastern Conference. Let's start with some thoughts on LSU, a 28-25 winner over Mississippi State on Saturday in Starkville. Anytime you can go on the road and get a win in the SEC, that is something that should not be taken lightly. So a lot of people were doubting this team going on the road. My hand's in the air. I thought Mississippi State would win the game. I was skeptical about LSU's defense and their ability to slow down this Mississippi State offense or stop them from scoring. And Durante Jones put together the exact right plan to combat that offense. Maybe the most surprising thing was after the game, T-Bob and I are doing whiskey and wine, and the preponderance of the opinions were that were people complaining about the defense. And I was perplexed by it because a year ago, you gave up 44 points and 623 passing yards to that team and lost in your building, and it left everybody wondering, where's the zone? Where's the rush 3, drop 8? Where's the defense that is the thing that's proven to give Mike Leach's offense trouble? And then LSU actually went out and did it this year, executed it perfectly, and people were upset because of the amount of yards you gave up. Y'all, I don't care how many yards you give up to Mississippi State. I don't care what the box score looks like. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard. And until Mississippi State got in the end zone on that seam route with 26 seconds left in the third quarter, your defense had allowed 3 points in the ballgame. It was a fantastic plan defensively. It was perfectly executed. I understand that the end game, late in the fourth quarter, it got a little nervous because State scored on 3 consecutive possessions. That's probably to be expected when your defense is on the field for 88 plays. I would actually flip it and say, after Cole Taylor's touchdown and State answered with a score, when LSU went 3 and out right there, it was the play where Max kind of threw low to Jack Besh, and Jack might have actually caught that ball, but I understand why when it went to review, it wasn't going to get overturned. If it had been ruled a catch on the field, it would have stood, but either way, a better throw, you get a first down there, and that ices the game for all intents and purposes. So a little bit execution there. Maybe you possess the football a little longer. You don't get into as tense a situation as you got into. But all in all, I thought it was exactly the right game plan. State had 29 first downs to LSU's 15. State outgained LSU by about 150 yards. Passing 371 to 280. Rushing 115 to 63. State held the ball for 10 more minutes than LSU did. And LSU never really felt threatened in this ballgame. So however it looked, maybe not aesthetically pleasing to some or to all, but it's exactly what you had to do to win that game. And the other thing that I'll point out with respect to how the defense played, you now have a 4-game sample size of this defense. You have a 4-game sample size. In the 4 games, other than Saturday, the other 3 games, have you seen them run that defense at all? No, because it is a game plan specific, opponent specific plan that LSU executed on Saturday, and they did so, I thought, brilliantly. Because listen, I'm not here to pump sunshine and rainbows and tell you that all's well and this team has no problems. But there is a macro and a micro conversation that can take place. In the macro, big picture, yes, this team still has flaws. You only ran the ball for 63 yards, 2.3 yards per carry. You're having trouble getting a push. You had a 3rd and 1. You tried a quarterback sneak and you got stuffed, on your first offensive possession. There were a lot of things in this game. We talked last week about 50-50 balls from Max Johnson that were touchdowns against Central Michigan. How would it look against an SEC opponent? Well, he threw a 50-50 ball and it got picked. I mean, yes, there were things in this game that you didn't love, but overall, that's the big picture thing. Like, yes, they have shortcomings that on the road at Bama, or maybe at home against Florida, or maybe on the road at Ole Miss, or maybe against Arkansas. At some point, those flaws, those blemishes may cost you a game. And that's likely to be expected at some point. But when you have the opportunity to go on the road in the league and get a road win in conference against a team that beat you in your building last year, and by the way, I am very much a believer in the balance of power, in the pecking order. You hear me say this often. Doormats need to be doormats. If you're in the Big 12, Kansas should always suck. You don't need Kansas having their moment, going winning an Orange Bowl like they did back in 2011 or whatever year. I think it was 2011, whatever year. 2000, maybe it was 07. It was 07 when they won the Orange Bowl with Mangino. But regardless, you need doormats to be doormats. In LSU in the West, you got to play Bama and you got to play Auburn, and you got A&M in your league now, in your division, and you got to play Florida every year. When you play Mississippi State, that needs to be a win, even when LSU is not playing at LSU standard. That's why LSU won 14 in a row in this series, like 22 of 23. It's how it should be when LSU plays Mississippi State. You should always win that game. So it keeps the balance of power in order. So even in a quote-unquote down year for LSU, you still go on the road and beat Mississippi State. That's how it should be. So, yes, I'm happy the way that everything played out on Saturday. You're 1-0 in the conference. You got a conference win on the road when a lot of people after UCLA thought LSU wouldn't win a conference game all year, which, of course, was ludicrous. There's enough talent that they're going to win conference games. So, glad to see that. A couple other takeaways from the game. Mississippi State radio shows today are probably lamenting missed opportunities, and I understand that, but I don't really care what Mississippi State radio is talking about today. The bottom line is, if State's turnovers and their shortcomings were their own fault, that would be one thing. Like if they had fumbled a snap or something like that, or fired a shotgun, a punt snap over a quarterback's head and cost you a possession. That's one thing. Cordell Flott's forced fumble on the first possession, aggressive tackle from a corner. Heads-up play by Damone Clark to scoop it and return it 40 yards and flip the field. LSU only had 113 yards of total offense in the first half. That 40 yards essentially gave LSU the opportunity to get on the scoreboard with that touchdown. So heads-up play by Damone Clark to scoop it and return it instead of just falling on it. the interception by Cordell Flott. He's a pterodactyl, and Will Rogers thought he could drop one over his head, and Flott made the play. Mississippi State was on a lengthy drive. Mississippi State's field goal drive, their only scoring drive in the first half, was a 14-play, 80-yard drive that ate up 6:19 off the clock, and they got a 3rd and goal from the 2, and Neil Farrell blows it up and gets a tackle for loss. That's not Mississippi State screwing up. That's LSU being opportunistic defensively and making a play, and you saw that time and time again in this ball game. So if there was one moment in the second half maybe where it got a little tense, it was after State scored to make it 21-10, and you're kind of feeling like, man, maybe, just maybe, State gets the ball back. We've seen them make the comebacks. If you were watching the TV broadcast, they referenced all the comebacks under Mike Leach, and LSU was lining up to punt, and that's where they got the leaping penalty, the 15 yards. 2 plays later was the Cole Taylor touchdown. At that point, it was 28-10, and it was really over. So LSU controlled this game throughout. It's always great to go on the road and get a win. There's so much more I want to talk about. Tackling was fantastic, and it had to be in this ball game. Max Johnson's production continues to be fantastic. Is he perfect? No, but I think context matters. That's a guy who's only made 6 career starts. 6 career starts. And do you realize Max Johnson right now is 16th in America in passing yardage, 2nd in passing touchdowns, and he is pacing right now in a regular season. He's pacing for 3,400 yards and 45 touchdowns. Now, I'm not telling you he's going to keep that pace throughout, but that, in context, is incredible because pre-Joe Burrow, we all would have passed out at the thought of something like that. So if you end up with a 3,000-yard passer with 30 or 40 touchdowns, that's incredible. It's going to give you the opportunity to win a lot of games, and you can see Max Johnson keeps getting better and better and better. So all of that was very good. Obviously, the offensive line and the running game continues to be a problem. That's going to cost this team somewhere down the line, but you did what you had to do to go on the road and get a win in conference. You take it, and you're on to the next. And, of course, the next is Auburn. And for many reasons, that adds an extreme level of intrigue because of what happened on the Plains with TJ Finley leading that comeback. That is something we certainly will be talking about throughout this week. But LSU beats Mississippi State 28-25. They've won 3 in a row. They're 1-0 in conference. And they're a home favorite this week against Auburn. Let's see if they can maybe start to string these together. All right, it's after further review. Our Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. We'll knock out a quick break. Come back. You know the deal on Mondays. Calls, texts, emails, tweets. If you want to get involved, feel free. 499-1045 or toll free 844-568-MATT. You can tweet us at Matt
Twitter
Moscona,
world.
at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can text the show in the 225. It's 396-4400, 396-4400. We'll knock out a quick break, get to some of your reaction. Also, want to talk about the Saints, their win in New England on Sunday. A lot to do, a Monday AFR. Stay here.
AFR.
Boy, fall is in the air. My goodness, what a weekend. Sunshiny, beautiful, low humidity, cooler temps. This is the perfect time to get in your garden and just plant something. And Clegg's Nursery makes that possible, like they have for 6 decades now. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. They've got Johnny Naylor seeds. If you want to plant that fall vegetable garden, you want your fall decor like pumpkins, squash, gourds, hay bales. They've got it all at Clegg's Nursery. What an amazing time to get by Clegg's to decorate your home inside and out for fall. The changing of the season is always a lot of fun. So, Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. And remember, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so anything you would find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So any of the 4 locations near you, buy local, shop local. For more than 60 years, I've been telling you, and it still rings true. Tell them Matt sent you in at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
In most cases, you'll never get more for your trade-in than right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Now's your chance to upgrade. You can pre-order your new Toyota today or choose one of our pre-owned vehicles and we'll buy back your current vehicle at a price that will absolutely amaze you. You can walk away with more money in your pocket than you ever thought possible. At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, that's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm feeling good. So I just thought you should know.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hope y'all had an awesome weekend, man. Just a lot of fun. Saints win, Tigers win. Just all in all, a really, really good. Weather was beautiful. Just a great weekend, great time of year. We're coming up to October, and October is my favorite month of the year. You have college football with conference matchups in full swing. The NFL is in full swing. You got the Major League Baseball postseason. You got the NBA and college basketball starting. October for me is just the greatest month of the sports calendar. So I'm going to be just generally in a very good mood throughout the month of October. So glad to have you hanging out with us here. New Orleans Saints, they go on the road and they beat the New England Patriots 28-13 in Foxborough. Here was Sean Payton after the win.
We felt like going in, we wanted to effectively run the football. Obviously, ball security, playing in here is a must when you consider their record at home. So, but I think it's too hard to say each week. I mean, it's going to vary based on the opponents, but I thought we did a handful of the things we were trying to do. We're going to look at the tape Monday. I'm sure it's not going to be perfect, and then make the corrections.
Yeah, all that's nice and everything. How about this? It's amazing what can happen when you actually have your best players and all of your coaches for the week. Y'all, I sat in this chair 2 Fridays ago, and I told you they were going to lose to Carolina. And a lot of you crushed me for it after the Green Bay win, which I told you they were going to beat Green Bay, by the way. So your boy's 3-0 on the season. But I sat here and I said, listen, man, you can't lose 8 coaches and 5 starters week to week and think you're going on the road in the NFL. The margin in the NFL is so thin. Did you watch the end of the San Francisco Green Bay game? Did you watch the Ravens and the Lions? The 66-yard field goal? Yo, the margin in this league is so thin. You cannot lose 5 starters in a week and 8 coaches and think you're just going to hum along. It doesn't work that way in the NFL. That was so obvious from a mile away. But what happened? Oh, wait, no. All right, let's go back. Let's go in the Wayback Machine to Friday when I was sitting right here next to Terrio. And this how that interaction went. Sean Payton is still an amazing coach. He's a great offensive play caller. The Saints are healthier. They got a gigantic wake-up call. They're not as bad as they were a week ago. They're getting their coaching staff back. They're going to go to New England focus. The Saints are going to beat the Patriots. Wait for it. The Saints are going to get to 2-1, and they're going to beat New England on Sunday. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here he comes.
Give me Mac Jones.
Oh, wait for it. Wait. Mac Jones will throw 2 interceptions. Oh, Sean you know Payton what? I was actually dead wrong. He didn't throw 2. He threw 3 interceptions on Sunday. Sconestradamus, Muse. What are you laughing at over there, Muse? Sconestradamus.
I forgot about the interception.
How
part
about
of that, video.
that, Muse?
Oh, God.
Your boy is in fuego right now.
I mean,
your boy is in fuego. On fire. Scotty's on fire. Try to tell Terrio, y'all. By the way, you know 3 players you got back this week? C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Marshawn Lattimore, Tano Passanio. The first defensive series of the game. Tano Passanio has a pressure. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a sack. And Marshawn Lattimore has a pass defended. Amazing what happens when you have all your players out there. Crazy how that happened, isn't it? This chair won't stay up. Y'all, I even tried to tell Terry about Mac Jones' picks, man. Listen, the New Orleans, there's a lot to like about that game on Sunday. There was a ton to like, okay? You got some big defensive plays. I know Jameis got away with an absolute miracle. By his own admission, the touchdown, he said that was God. The touchdown to Marquez Callaway. Actually, it was just a beautiful play by Marquez Callaway. You throw up a 50-50 ball. It could have been picked. Could have been incomplete. Could have been a touchdown. Any one of those 3, the best solution is actually what happened. So, by the way, here was Sean Payton on the sideline was super not happy with Jameis as he was coming off the field after the touchdown. This is what Sean said after the game.
I don't think he knew there was a flag coming. I think it was that, complete or incomplete. We'll look at the tape. We were a bit fortunate there, I think, and, Marquez made a play and kind of a hold your breath moment.
So, yes, Marquez Callaway made a play, got his first career touchdown. It was a little bit of a hold your breath moment, but how about Alvin Kamara on the day? Was absolutely sensational. When you pay Alvin Kamara the way the Saints did, and he goes out there and totals 118 yards from scrimmage, has 24 of the team's 38 rushing attempts. When you needed Alvin Kamara to be a stud, he was your stud. And a couple of other things we saw in this game. Zach Bond had his chance last week. It didn't go so hot. What did they do? Pete Werner, kid, get in there. Let's see what you got. Pete Werner took 34 snaps. Caden Ellis took 33 snaps. And how about the pressure that Caden Ellis had on the interception? I mean, everything came together for this team because defensively, when they have all their players, this is a really good team. And they were going on the road, but like we talked about, it was a rookie quarterback, and there isn't that one guy on the other side that you really fear, like with Green Bay. Look at the end of Sunday Night Football, the Green Bay 49ers game. 37 seconds left in the game. Everyone in the stadium knows Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball to 17. And what happens? Devontae Adams comes up with 2 catches to put Green Bay in position to kick the game-winning field goal. Even though everyone knew they're throwing it to 17, you still couldn't stop it because he's that much better than everyone. That's what gives me so much optimism about this Saints team moving forward. We talked about it all spring and summer. Just get to 3-2 going into your bye. You got your bye week 6, get to 3-2 because the cavalry is coming. You're going to get Mike Thomas back. You're going to get David Onyemata back. Now you've got the injury issues, and you're going to get Quan and Davenport back. Traquan, although I'm done with him, but he might give you something, but probably not, but maybe. You're going to get Will Lutz back, who's eligible to return this week. The cavalry's on the way. Fine. This is not a finished product in week 3. Find a way to win and get above 500 going into your bye, because then you're going to get everybody healthy. You get Mike Thomas back for the Seahawks game. After that, you're going to get David Onyemata back. And then you're going to be able to hit your stride in the second half of the season. And I love what this team could look like when they are whole. But right now, they're not whole, and they're still finding a way to win, which is most encouraging. So, yes, the defense was incredible. They allowed 13 points on the road. We know all that. and they're going to keep getting better as they get healthier. And the big question everybody has right now is the offense. But think about the example I just gave you with Green Bay and Devontae Adams on Sunday Night Football. That's the type of security blanket. We don't know how Jameis is going to perform until Mike Thomas is back. Mike Thomas is that guy. When everyone in the stadium knows they're throwing it to 13, you put it in his catch radius, and he still makes the catch. When Jameis has that guy, how much more does that open up the offense? How much more does that open up Alvin Kamara? How much more does that free Marquez Callaway from double teams and safety help? How much more does that free Deontay Harris on go routes? So much more opens up when 13's on the field, and we got to see it. And then what about Traquan if he can give you anything? They're asking a lot of guys right now offensively who have never done it to be impact guys, and they just aren't. I think your best receiver right now is actually Deontay Harris. How about that? After New England scored to make it a little tense in the fourth quarter, when it's 21-13, and all of a sudden the Saints are facing a 3rd and 7, and you're about to give them the ball right back in a one-score game. You're facing a 3rd and 7, and what do you run? Deontay Harris out route for 12 yards, move the chains, and after that, it was show your manhood time because the Saints loaded up behind their offensive line. We saw a ton of Taysom Hill, a ton of Alvin Kamara, and they ran 13 plays, 75 yards, chewed up almost 7 minutes, and just bully-balled New England right down the field for the game-clinching score. And that felt so good to see because when you need to line up and run the football in this league, when you need to line up and close a game, New Orleans showed even without Eric McCoy, even without Teron Armstead, with Calvin Throckmorton as your right guard, Cesar Ruiz as your center, and James Hurst as your left tackle, you bullied New England right down their own field for the game-clinching score. Y'all, I get it. This is not a championship team today, but they don't need to be a championship team today. What they need to be is a team that can get into the playoffs and start peaking when they're in the playoffs. And you can't get there without winning these games. So the fact that they're sitting here at 2-1 right now, coming home for their actual first home game in the Dome, which will have a dome-coming kind of feel post-Ida, the first time since 2019 that building is going to be at capacity and full throat, and you actually have a legitimate home field advantage in the Superdome. It's going to be amazing. And the Giants suck. You don't have to wait for Friday. I'll give you my pick right now. New Orleans is going to blast the Giants in the Dome on Sunday. I'm giving you my pick right. I just watched the Giants lose to the Falcons, who are terrible. New Orleans they will beat New York on Sunday in the Dome. They'll be 3-1 going to Washington football team. And we'll see how that one plays out based on what all transpires. But man, I don't know how you can come out of yesterday feeling anything but awesome about where this team sits at 2-1. Look, I get it. Aldrich Rosas missed a field goal, which amounted to a glorified PAT. Will Lutz is able to return this week. Is he back? I don't know. It's not just Will Lutz, but all the IR guys. Traquan, Ken Crawley, Will Clapp, Nick Vannett is able to come back this week. Will Lutz, so the issues you've had at tight end, maybe you get Vannett back. Maybe you get Will Lutz back this week. It's just the reason I'm bullish on this team right now is because they're winning shorthanded. And you know the cavalry is on the way. So great win for New Orleans to go to New England and get it 28-13. And again, you don't have to wait till Friday. I'm telling you right now. The Saints are going to be I'm 3-0. Do you think we should let Terrio know when he comes in on Friday that I'm already making – you don't have to wait for Friday. I'm telling you right now I'm picking the Saints to beat the Giants. And they will beat the Giants. I don't know what the spread is. It doesn't matter. They're going to cover it. They're going to kick the holy hell out of New York because at 8, it doesn't even matter what it is. They're going to kick the holy hell out of the Giants in the Dome because – that is going to be an emotional letting for the entire city in the Dome that day, and the Giants suck. And that Daniel Jones against that defense in that building at full throat, no, get out of here. So I just ruined Friday's 5 o'clock hour. All right. Saints win, Tigers win. It's a good Monday, y'all. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. If you want to join us, you can. Cole Cubelic in 45 minutes. Don't move.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com. Remember, Pinnacle, they can build your gorgeous custom pool. They can build your outdoor kitchen. If you need fences, decks, bulkheads, they do it all. They take your boring backyard and make it into an oasis. They make your outdoor space your palatial getaway on your own property, that's Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Check out pictures of the gorgeous work that they do at their website or at their Instagram page, Pinnacle Exterior Construction. Look for that Pinnacle green. You'll see it all over the place. Also, remember, as we continue recovering from Ida, if you have down trees or down fences, tear down, haul away, they can do it all. If you need a fence tear down, repair, or replacement, Pinnacle can do that as well. Look them up online. PECbuilt.com is in Pinnacle Exterior Construction. PECbuilt.com. We build the spaces, you build the memories. That's Pinnacle Exterior Construction, 757-6138.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm rolling along here. Glad you are with us. Big trade in the NFL, which does impact the Saints. We'll get to that here in a little more than 10 minutes from right now. Cole Cubelic next hour. Well, let's hear a lot of what Ed Orgeron had to say today when he met with the media previewing Auburn. Of course, one of the gigantic storylines, as you probably saw this past weekend, is that former LSU quarterback TJ Finley led a game-winning drive for Auburn against Georgia State. And now there's this big question as to whether or not Brian Harsin is going to start TJ Finley or Bo Nix. I will maintain that I think he's still going to start Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is going to start for Auburn Saturday in Tiger Stadium. It would be hard for me to imagine this one moment in a, what was it, really terrible game where Auburn darn near lost to Georgia State. I mean, they were down to a 4th down play where I mean, you can look at the final score, which was a 10-point margin, 34-24, but Auburn was down 6 with about 45 seconds to play and facing a 4th down, and Finley threw the touchdown pass, kind of an acrobatic reception, but and scramble. And that was amazing, 98-yard touchdown drive, but I'm not sure that alone is going to bench Bo Nix for this game. But if things in Tiger Stadium start going sideways for Bo Nix and Auburn, you better believe we'll see TJ Finley. We'll get that answer a bit later in the week. And that's further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com, 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. They can do your annual eye exam. They could get you your contacts or your glasses. But most importantly, if you want to live your life without contacts or glasses, do like I did 3 years ago. Go for that consultation. State-of-the-art surgery and dry eye center at their new location on the Baton Rouge General Campus. It's the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com. Do what Devin White did. Do what John Emery did. Do what Caleb on Chasson did, and Warren Morris, and Paul Maneri, and Jimmy Ott, and Jacob Hester, and do what I did. Do what we all did. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Auburn Tigers.
Brian Harsin has parted ways with first-year wide receivers coach Cornelius Williams, doing so on Sunday, just 4 games into the season. Eric Keesaw will serve as Auburn's wide receiver coach in the interim. Keesaw was hired as an offensive analyst at Auburn after spending the last 4 years as an assistant on Harsin's staff at Boise State. So Williams was hired back on January 16th. He had spent the previous 6 years in the same role at Troy, signed a 2-year contract worth $300,000 annually, so Auburn will owe him the balance of that deal.
The Florida Gators.
Quarterback Anthony Richardson missed the last 2 contests with a slight right hamstring strain, but Dan Mullen says he'll be back early this week at a full go, saying, quote, "I think we are 100% now." Richardson's had an MRI taken each of the last 2 Fridays before the game, but Mullen said wasn't willing to gamble prior, even though it looked good. No MRI at all this week. They're rolling with Anthony Richardson this week against Kentucky. But the offensive line for Florida, worth watching. Right guard Stuart Reese did not play against Tennessee. Right tackle Jean Delance did not play after the first few series when he was injured. And center Kingsley Iguakun also left the game twice at various points. So Florida could be going up to Lexington with a banged-up offensive line. That Florida-Kentucky game kicks at 5 o'clock Central Time on ESPN.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Tennessee's quarterback situation remains a source of concern right now. Joe Milton started the season opener, was injured in the Pitt game in Week 2, was replaced by Hendon Hooker. Well, Hooker's the Virginia Tech transfer. He was forced to leave Saturday's game at Florida after he was sacked in the 4th quarter. So Milton finished the game, even though he wasn't 100%. So Josh Heupel was asked if Hendon Hooker was available for Saturday's game at Missouri, and he said, quote, "Not sure." The depth chart Monday showed Milton listed as the starter for the Missouri game, a game which Mizzou is a home favorite over Tennessee.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
And College Game Day is headed to Athens for the Georgia-Arkansas game. It's the 3rd straight season Game Day will have visited Athens. Last time Georgia, by the way, had 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff against an SEC opponent. Bulldogs lost to South Carolina in 2019. Georgia and Arkansas played the first game of the season last year, with Georgia blasting Arkansas 37-10. Game Day coming to your city there in Athens for Georgia and Arkansas. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. They're online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. So game day going to Georgia, Arkansas means that they are not going to Tuscaloosa for Alabama Ole Miss, which might be actually the biggest game in college football this weekend. I'm similar to the Saints and Giants. I'm going to call my shot right now. I'm picking Ole Miss to beat Alabama outright in the game this weekend in Tuscaloosa. A year ago, we saw the Rebs put up 48 points on that Alabama team. Now, they lost 63-48, but I don't think Alabama can stop Ole Miss from scoring. So Georgia-Arkansas will be College game day this week, but the game that's going to be 11 a.m. So weird that's going to be an 11 a.m. game for that one. But the game that I'm really interested to see, as are most of you, I would assume, is going to be the 2:30 game with Alabama and Ole Miss. And that is going to be a matchup of the two odds-on favorites right now to win the Heisman Trophy. Matt Corral is the favorite right now at plus 160 to win the Heisman Trophy, followed closely by Alabama quarterback Bryce Young at plus 200. So the two Heisman favorites right now will match up in Bryant-Dennehy Stadium on Saturday at 2:30 Central Time on CBS. In the preseason, Corral was 50-1 to win the Heisman. You got really good odds if you got him there. Put a little cash on it then. And I will remind you that we had Matt Corral on this show from SEC Football Media Days. I have a feeling we might reference this soundbite more this week and throughout the season. But this was the thing. When I got bullish on Ole Miss was how uncomfortably confident they were at SEC Media Days. This was the conversation, a piece of the conversation Matt Corral and I had on Radio Row.
Nobody understands what we have at Ole Miss but the people that are in that building every single day, and we have high expectations.
So what do you have at Ole Miss? So no one understands what you have at Ole Miss. So what do you have?
We have a team that's going to, surprise a lot of people. I stand by that.
Surprising a lot of people so far. It's the Rebs and the Tide this Saturday from Bryant-Dennehy Stadium in Tuscaloosa. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Relief Windows. Glad you're hanging out with us here. If you want to get involved, you can do that on Mondays. We do try to take a lot of your interaction. So we got the JimsFirearms.net phone lines open right now at 499-1045. 499-1045. If you want to work in a call, you can tweet us.
Hey, Twitter world.
At Matt Moscona. Just make sure Juice didn't step on me. At Matt Moscona, you can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat and the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. While you're there, smash that like button as well. Or you can text the show on the 225. It's 396-4400. 396-4400. Say that name, 396-4400, if you want to text the show. All right, let me knock out our final break here of hour number one. We'll come back, get some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. Also, a massive trade today in the NFL, which does impact the Saints. We'll talk about that here in a second. Cole Cubelic, 30 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Since Ida rolled through and a lot of people, unfortunately, had damage to your home or your property, a lot of us have had to file insurance claims. And what's happened as a direct result of that is a lot of us have realized how inadequate our coverage or our insurance company is. And that's unfortunate, but it's something I tell you often when I mention Insurance Network of Louisiana. They shop independently to get you better coverage for less money. For example, maybe you had storm damage and you try to file a homeowner's claim, but you realize your deductible is 5%. Well, 5% of the price of your home could be a massive dollar amount. We've seen instances where Insurance Network of Louisiana shops and gets flat $1,000 deductibles on homeowners insurance. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop for free to get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
In most cases, you'll never get more for your trade-in than right now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Now's your chance to upgrade. You can pre-order your new Toyota today or choose one of our pre-owned vehicles and we'll buy back your current vehicle at a price that will absolutely amaze you. You can walk away with more money in your pocket than you ever thought possible. At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, that's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Man, I was watching Sunday Night Football last night. Didn't get a chance to see the baseball game. Muse, did you get a score? Did you happen to get a score, Muse?
You do not get to do this because you have given up on your team.
I get to do whatever I want.
No, you don't.
That's the beauty of being a fan, Muse.
You do
not have to be rational, Muse. You do not have to be rational in any way. And I'll tell you this. I still maintain the Yankees aren't winning anything this year. But it was so nice to watch all of you little fake Red Sox fans just melt.
You're like giving up on your team, and I'm being called a fake fan.
That's because they're not going to
Doesn't matter. You support them blindly throughout all of it. That's what being a fan is about.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
So that's the difference here. So I understand, rationally speaking, that the Yankees are not going to win anything this year, and I'm okay with that. But there's two things that I do know that.
You don't know that.
I've watched them enough. I know. There's two things that I will tell you that I care about. Number one is winning my bourbon bet with Mac Cubelic, and which almost
this weekend helped.
Knock on Formica. But so I didn't see what the Cubs did this weekend, like legitimately. So for those that don't know, Mac Cubelic, who owns Traction, he and I have a bourbon bet every year at the start of the baseball season. We look. His team is the Cubs, mine are the Yankees. So we look at the projected win totals in Vegas, and whatever the difference is, that person gets the difference, right? So this year, Matt got the Cubs plus 17. It's ridiculous. And until the fire sale at the trade deadline, he was probably going to smoke me. And then the Cubs traded everybody. They tanked. The Yankees went on like a 12-game winning streak. And I was like, oh, look, I think I'm going to win. So anyway, I care about that. And now I really care about ruining Boston's playoff opportunity. So that's what I really am excited about now. Is to make and I've been consistent here, Muse. I hate the wild card game.
You do.
I hate it. I don't care if the Yankees are in it. I don't care if they've won it and they've lost it. I've seen my team on both sides of that thing. I hate it. You play 162 to determine who goes to the playoff. You don't play 162 only to give the team that didn't finish in the playoff race the opportunity to one-game winner-take-all thing. If there's a tie, okay, after 162. But if there's no tie, there's no need. Hate the wild card game. Hate it. But if the Yankees this weekend played a role in keeping the Red Sox out of it, I would love it. It's close.
The Red Sox are going to make the playoffs.
That's what I care about right now.
Because their schedule is really easy the next two series to end it. Meanwhile, the Yankees have to play the Jays and the Rays. So good luck. Maybe we'll see you there. Maybe we won't.
Okay. Red Sox aren't winning anything this year anyway.
Probably not. But no one thought the Nationals were going to win the World Series a few years ago either. So it's baseball. Anything can happen. That's why I just won't ever say never. But probably not. But I still want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Red Sox aren't winning anything either. I just want to win my bourbon. All right. There was a pretty significant trade in the NFL today. The Carolina Panthers have acquired C.J. Henderson from the Jacksonville Jaguars. This sucks. All throughout the spring and summer, when New Orleans was trying to acquire a legit number one corner, either to replace Janoris Jenkins or as an insurance policy against the potential of Marshawn Lattimore not being back with the team or having league discipline or whatever, they vetted everything. They tried to trade up in the draft for J.C. Horn. They tried in free agency, as we learned, to trade for Stephon Gilmore. There were C.J. Henderson rumors when Jacksonville was willing to move on from the former 9th overall pick in the draft, the 2020 draft. And they never did consummate a deal, and ultimately the deal the Saints got done was for Bradley Roby, who came over from the Texans. Now, it's worth mentioning this, okay? Because a lot of people sort of, I shouldn't say a lot of people, there was this narrative after the game on Sunday with the Saints beating the Patriots, where we really didn't see Bradley Roby because Paulson Adebo started opposite Marshawn Lattimore. I'm okay with that. I would rather Paulson Adebo overshoot any expectation people had for him as a rookie and become a very good starting number 2 cornerback opposite Marshawn Lattimore, who you've already paid. Remember, the deal you did for Bradley Roby was because it was an insurance policy. You didn't know P-Rob suddenly retires. Janoris Jenkins, you had to ship off in a cap-cutting move, a cap-saving move. You didn't have a viable number 2 because you weren't sure if Adebo was going to be ready to step up into that role. That's why they were so active trying to find somebody. So remember, in the deal, the Texans restructured his deal so that the cap hit for the Saints this year is very low on Bradley Roby, and next year is voidable. So it costs you basically nothing to bring him in as an insurance policy, and that's why you have insurance. You hope you never need insurance, but when you do need it, you're glad you have it. Like when Marshawn Lattimore has thumb surgery and misses a game, you're glad you have Bradley Roby there to start. Now, you lost in Carolina, actually got your ass kicked, so it didn't really matter, but you understand the point. But if you would tell me, with the benefit of hindsight now, that this is what it took to get C.J. Henderson, this is the deal. The Panthers got C.J. Henderson and a 5th-round pick, the former 9th overall pick, and a 5 for tight end Dan Arnold and a 3rd-round pick. I mean, considering the Saints actually have an abundance of draft capital now because of compensatory picks, you lose Trey Hendrickson to the Bengals. They recoup a 3rd-round pick for that. I mean, the fact that you actually have an abundance of draft capital, you could have done this deal. Now, you have Dan Arnold, but could you have traded some middling tight end and a 3 for C.J. Henderson? That'd be phenomenal, because now what sucks about this from New Orleans' perspective is, I get it, this year, J.C. Horn has the broken bones in his foot, which is why Carolina felt compelled to make this move to get a legit number 1 corner, what they feel can be a legit number 1 corner. But when you look forward now, you've got 2 top 10 picks, both on rookie contracts now. They're going to have a phenomenal 1-2 punch at corner, which is what we were hoping for with the Saints with Lattimore and a C.J. Henderson. So the deal the Saints were hoping to do a month ago, they couldn't consummate, and now your division rival who just kicked the crap out of you, they got that deal done. So I'm bummed about that. Horn and Henderson as a cornerback tandem in Carolina is not a lot of fun to think about, especially when you think about what that offense could be there as well with that 3-headed monster receiver, McCaffrey, and if you have an improving Sam Darnold. But nonetheless, Carolina got the deal done that New Orleans couldn't, and that's unfortunate for New Orleans' sake. But C.J. Henderson is headed to Carolina. He's now a Carolina Panther. But it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Remember, they've got the Atlas 3-row 7-seater family SUV. And also, if you don't need the third row, the Atlas Cross Sport is a great option as well. Shop them online at SouthPointVW.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, 1 hour in the books, y'all, here on this Monday edition of AFR, recapping a busy, fruitful football weekend here in Louisiana. When we come back, we'll let you hear some of what Ed Orgeron had to say today, preparing Auburn week and Cole Cubelic in about 20 minutes from right now. Don't you move. Hour number 2 of AFR is next.
AFR.
Love telling you about DraftKings and DraftKings.com. Download the all-new award-winning DraftKings app. Make sure you use the code Baton Rouge, and you could have a chance at winning millions of dollars in prizes. And, of course, in order to win millions of dollars in prizes, you must first win
$1 million.
You darn right. DraftKings is the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. It's easy. Download the DraftKings app, pick your lineup, stand under the salary cap, and see how you stack up against the competition. This allows you to feel the NFL action unlike ever before. And we're heading into the final day, obviously, of week number 3 in the NFL tonight with Monday Night Football. So download the DraftKings app. Use the code Baton Rouge. Again, download the DraftKings app. Use the code Baton Rouge. One word, all smushed together, Baton Rouge, for your chance to win millions in prizes. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. DraftKings!
And our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Hand injury lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, breaking NFL news. Receiver Josh Gordon's application for reinstatement to the NFL approved today by Commissioner Roger Goodell. He plans to sign with the Chiefs. Gordon, coming back from a 6th suspension since the 2013 season, he is eligible to play this week. Plenty of quarterback questions for Bears coach Matt Nagy today. Said he hasn't made a decision yet who his starting quarterback will be against the Lions, adding that rookie Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, all under consideration. The Bears need to fire Nagy now, advises ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
He had 149 days since the moment he drafted Justin Fields to build this game plan. It was the worst offensive game plan I've ever seen in my life. And it was either intentional or negligent. You either showed everybody that you're incapable of taking talent and building a plan in an offense around a certain style and skill set talent-wise, or you took that talent and said, I don't want to do it.
Dan Orlovsky on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. NBA, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Nuggets forward Michael Porter Jr. has agreed on a 5-year designated max extension. Could be worth up to $207 million.
Want to look like $1 million? Upgrade to a Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razor for a noticeably smooth shave thanks to their 6 precision-cut stainless steel blades. Find your perfect shave with Dollar Shave Club stores. Yep, that's Dollar Shave Club in store. So go to the store and find them.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Cole Cubelic in less than 15 minutes from right now. 18 minutes from right now is Musso's favorite time of day. By the way, did you hear Josh Gordon reinstated? Randall Offrecht.
He's going to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Randall Offrecht. Gordon is Musso's weed guy.
That's a good one. It's not true, but that is a good one. That is a good one.
Oh, man. That is so good. Then there's this guy, Patrick Himmel. This is via text. You suck. That's sad what you just did to Musso. Which part?
I was about to say, what part are you referring to, Patrick? Gosh.
Our general daily interaction.
I mean,
I got to tell you this.
You new here, Patrick?
I got to tell you this, Muse. So, of course, Erica on Friday. Terry has been having Erica come on, for my wife, come on Friday to do the guest picker segment. And we were talking on Friday with her on the air about, like, you know, all the stuff about you being a pothead.
Yeah, the bit that you've created.
Well, I mean, if the shoe fits,
I mean, it doesn't.
It kind of does.
Not really.
It fits like a glove or like a shoe. But anyway, I got home. So I got home, and you know, she was all like, "Oh, it's just whatever." She got home and she said, "It's actually really funny all the weeds."
How dare you, Erica?
Man, that's great.
Come on here and just lie to my face about it.
Oh, that's so good. Well, actually, not to your face because you weren't, you know,
to my ears.
Yeah, to your ears, all that stuff. Okay. All right, time for further review. Someone else, let's see, another text. You can always text the show, 225-396-4400. Oh, that guy's a Sox fan. So he's a fake Sox fan like you. I'm sure.
He's good people. We like Patrick. Good guy, long-time listener.
Been a diehard since 2004, right? Sure. Let's see. Alex Day said, Matt, are you going to put your money where your mouth is on the Rebs? Absolutely. I'm telling you, right, like I will pick Ole Miss to beat Alabama, and I will wager. I will have a money line wager on that game. I think Ole Miss will beat Alabama. Can I say that any more plainly? I think they will beat Alabama, and I will place a money line wager on that game. 14.5 is tempting, but why take the points when you think they're going to win? Take the odds, man. All right, it's after further review. So Ed Orgeron met with the media today, and can we just a little housekeeping first? Muse, can you play 7? He was asked for an update on Stingley. I think everyone's curious. Here was the very brief update on Stingley.
We haven't heard anything yet. He's going to see a doctor this week. He has not seen the doctor, so it's still the same right now.
Okay, so nothing on Stingley. He was at the game. He was wearing a boot. I think we all saw that. And then can you also play, please, number 12? This was the update on John Emery and his status.
Not yet. We're supposed to hear something soon. He's going to practice. If they make a decision and they say they can play, he's going to be ready to play. And we're going to continue to practice something like that till we hear any different.
I think we talked about this throughout last week. LSU was very confident they were going to get John Emery and Trey Bradford eligible last week. John Emery's attorney, Don Jackson, last week said that Emery's hearing was on Thursday. They were expecting a ruling Thursday or Friday from the NCAA. We had heard the same thing, but the point we made then and continue to make always is the NCAA sucks. They have their judge, jury, and executioner. There's no one holding them accountable, and they don't have to do anything based on precedent. So it's almost impossible to predict with the NCAA, and it's really unfortunate for LSU and for John Emery. And I will maintain that I am going to be curious to see if and when LSU gets John Emery available, how much that impacts the running game, hopefully for the positive. Because if you're an offense where your offensive line is struggling, and I think that's obvious, right? I mean, everybody at this point, if we look at LSU and we say, okay, what's like the Achilles heel, the biggest bugaboo on this team? Everyone's going to say the same thing. I mean, it's the offensive line. There's no doubt about that. We all understand it. We agree with it. It's obvious to anybody who watches. Well, if you have a back that can create plays even when there's penetration or get yards after contact, like it obviously has the opportunity to make your rushing offense more effective. John Emery could potentially be that back in this offense. So let me see what it's like once John Emery is available. I'm not saying that is the cure-all, but it certainly doesn't hurt having a guy of that status and that ability available for this offense. Now, when Orgeron met with the media today, he did talk through the running game and through the offensive line. And let's start with him talking about what he feels at this point is the biggest thing the offensive line needs to work on moving forward.
I think continuity. I think really a pad level, being aggressive and knocking people off the ball and pass protection. I think this week we'll get Cam Wire back and perhaps Charles Turner. I think that's going to help us with some depth.
If Cam Wire's back this week, they'll have an interesting decision to make at left tackle. Wire did not he did end up dressing, but middle of the week last week, he hadn't taken a rep, and it would have been shocking had he played. If they get him back this week, at what health level, they have that decision to make. Is Cam Wire, less than 100% a better option than, say, Anthony Bradford? We saw this past week, both Garrett Dellinger got the start at left tackle, had some issues at left tackle, as you'd expect a true freshman playing that position to have on the road in the SEC, and they put Bradford in there, and Bradford fared a little better, but still not great. So, what do you do if Cam Wire's healthy? You probably start Cam Wire. If he's not healthy, you probably start Anthony Bradford at left tackle, and you roll with the rest of your line as it is. But listen, Ed Orgeron is as candid as they come as a head coach. A lot of coaches play things close to the vest. Ed's not one of them. I mean, he tells you when guys are hurt. He tells you what he's thinking, and I respect that tremendously. We always ask for candor and less coach speak, and sometimes when we get it, then we criticize the people who are candid. I'll never do that. I appreciate candor, and Ed was pretty candid in talking about the state of this running game right now.
Well, we're disappointed. I think we have some outstanding backs. We just don't have any room to run. And we have some guys that get knocked back. Sometimes we have holes, sometimes we don't have holes. We just need to be more consistent. And we need to choose the runs that we can run well. I think our counters, it's the first time we run our gap plays. We had some success on our gap plays. We had some big plays. We have to stay with that. We have to do the things that we know to do well and do them better.
There are some things that they've done well in the running game. And I will certainly give credit when you talk about some of the creativities you see with some of the sweep action, the jet sweeps, the motions, and even the short passing game with moving Kayshon Boutte into the slot. I mean, all that sort of helped alleviate a lot of that pressure. But you're going to take a step up, obviously, in competition this week with that Auburn front seven. And then in Kentucky's front seven is formidable. I mean, it doesn't get easy. I mean, it's the SEC. You know what's ahead with Arkansas and with Texas A&M and Alabama. I mean, it's the SEC. It's formidable. It's not easy. So every week is going to be that kind of grind. So they got to find a way to improve or get more creative to find plays in the passing game or just find a different way to win. Excuse me, in the running game, or just find different ways to win. But one more from Ed Orgeron about this running game and the goals of the team as it relates to the running game.
I don't think so.
With that, made him he's a very on 310-pound defensive lineman. It's just not what he's going to be great at this point in his career. So, if you had a tight end that was capable of giving you that and not making you predictable by personnel, that could be another blocker that could maybe assist you in the running game. You just don't have it right now. I mean, it is a personnel issue, and it's something that they're going to have to address this offseason, either in the transfer portal or however, JUCO, however it may be. But I don't know how you get better, significantly better right now, considering the personnel disadvantages that you have in the running game. But Ed's right. I mean, it's, he said we're not going to be able to go where we be what we want to be if we don't get the running game going. Well, what you want to be as a championship team, you're not going to be that this year, and that's apparent. But how good can you be with the pieces you have? That's what we'll start to find out, obviously, this week. It's good enough to go win on the road at Mississippi State, and you're a home favorite against Auburn. It should be good enough to win at home against Auburn this week. And you could win at Kentucky. I mean, you're just going to see this the remainder of this season, with few exceptions where, Alabama is going to be a big line and all. But most of LSU's games this year, you're going to see a field goal spread one way or the other. Right now, the Auburn, it's 3.5 right now. I mean, State at kickoff was 1.5. When LSU goes to Kentucky, they'll probably be either a pick 'em or a slight underdog in that game. That's just the way it's going to be for this team this year. They're going to probably play a lot of really close games, and here's hoping they win more of them than they lose. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Cole Cubelic of the SEC Network is going to join us next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out tonight, and delivery, by the way, DoorDash and Uber Eats. Tonight, the last day of Week 3 of the NFL. Got a little Monday night football. Need a place to watch the Eagles and the Cowboys? How about Pluckers? Because every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pay one low price, eat as many wings as you want. Tossed and battered, fried, tossed in your favorite wing sauce. Find your favorite wing sauce tonight. Eat as many of them as you want. All-you-can-eat wings tonight and every Monday. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out. Remember, they have online ordering now as well. So if you want to get the wings taken to your house, you can do that. Pluckers.com, order online. Pluckers.com, order online. Or have them delivered, Uber Eats and DoorDash. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 26 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV, and all-you-can-eat wings tonight at Pluckers. You don't like our wings? We'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Always appreciative of Cole Cubelic, SEC Network, spending a couple minutes with us here on a Monday to recap the goings-on around the conference from the weekend that was. Cole, thanks for the time. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Matt. Appreciate you having me on.
Dude, always our pleasure. I want to start with a thought on LSU. It wasn't necessarily pretty, aesthetically pleasing, but a road win in the SEC is a road win in the SEC. So did you learn anything about either LSU or Mississippi State coming out of the game on Saturday?
I learned, well, maybe not learned, but it was confirmed that Mississippi State is the weirdest team in college football. I continue to be sort of amazed at how they win games, how they lose games, I guess I should just say how they operate. I mean, they outgained LSU by what, 143 yards or something? I mean, they outrushed LSU, which, I mean, I don't know how many times in the tenure of Mike Leach, however long that ends up being, that we're going to say that Mississippi State outrushes an opponent. It just doesn't happen very often. I mean, the only game that they have not outgained an opponent this year was NC State, and they looked dominant in that game. Like that was their best performance of the season. Yeah. So, I mean, Will Rogers is throwing darts. They're marching up and down the field. Can't get in the end zone because their red zone offense is not very good. And then that brings up just another question of how weird they are that, you know, they refuse to try to run the ball the majority of the time, and then they get inside the 5 and they want to go try to run the ball. And I mean, I just don't like that's not what you do. I don't really care about where you are on the field, but you're not good at that. So I don't know why you think you'd be good at that when things compress. But nonetheless, you're right. It's a good win for LSU on the road in the morning against a team that, I mean, I guess because they're so weird, it's got to be kind of difficult to face because they do different things. And by the way, you're going to face a team that was going to throw the ball between 60, 75 times, and you lose your best player on defense going in. Yeah. So, and I know they didn't play a lot of man coverage against an air raid team, but still, I mean, it's a guy that can make plays, a guy that covers ground, and you didn't have it. So, you know, LSU's offensive line still a work in progress. I saw some stuff on the left side that was just it can't happen. I mean, recognition, turning guys loose. It's just there are things that absolutely have to improve. but you still found a way to win. And at the end of the day, that's the most important part.
Do you feel better, or should LSU fans feel better about their team today than they did, minutes after the loss to UCLA in the opener?
Yeah, because you've won games. I mean, I don't really care. This is part of, I think a bigger picture problem sort of in college football right now. And I don't know if this has just been 8 or 12 years in the making with, Urban at Ohio State or Nick at Alabama or Dabo at Clemson, but we've become so enamored with the performance as opposed to the result. And there are so many times. I mean, I've got multiple examples of this season that the result has just not been enough for fans. No better case than Alabama last week against Florida, where their fans were there's a large portion of that fan base that's melting down.
Yeah.
The world was ending for a lot of those folks. You won the game at the Swamp against a top 12 team. I mean, take it and move on. So I just, the fact that you have won a couple games in a row and you're finding different ways to improve in different areas of your team, yeah, I absolutely think you should feel better about things.
Okay. Cole Cubelic's with us on Twitter at Cole Cubelic, SEC Network. LSU's going to face Auburn this weekend. I don't want to jump too far ahead to that game, but I do want to ask a very pointed question, Cole. Should TJ Finley be starting for Auburn in Tiger Stadium this weekend?
That's a complicated question, and I'm just going to answer it the first way that I think about, and that is, what would I do? And keep in mind, for people to hear this, I'm not there every day. I'm not at practice every day. I'm not in the quarterback meeting room, so I don't know all those things. If it were me, Bo Nix would still be my starting quarterback, because even though TJ came in, helped you find a win, made a couple big plays, there were plenty of things about his performance that were not great, and that I'm sure he did not grade out in a plus on that particular player, particular situation. But it was impressive what he came in to do nonetheless. If it's me, Matt, I have the conversation of, I pull TJ aside and I basically tell him, listen, if you were in his shoes and you had done everything he had done going into this season, before this season, during this season to earn that starting job, we would not take it away from you because of one bad half of football. And we would give you that opportunity to get it back. That being said, you better have your ass ready, because we got a pretty good feeling that something very similar is going to happen again. And when it does, we're going to make that move. And when we make that move again, it's going to be the last time we make it. And then it's yours from there on out. So that's how I would have that conversation, because I do think Bo Nix deserves a chance to sort of be the guy. And then, too, I think you avoid some of the things that you are kind of maybe halfway alluding to, and that is the fact that TJ played at LSU, coming over there to play at night, starting the game, that gives you a week of anticipation. You don't really know how that's going to go. I think you avoid a lot of that by just saying, hey, Bo's going to get the start. Obviously, the leash is a little bit shorter. We know the things that have been happening. We know what we're looking for. Those things take place again. We're going to make that move, and we're not making it this time with the thought process of, hey, we hope you can come in and save us again. We're making it with the thought process that we're replacing our starting quarterback for good.
It's always interesting, LSU and Auburn. You and I have had the conversation enough times, man. It's for me personally my favorite rivalry that LSU plays. I'll circle back to that in a minute, but I did want to ask you about Texas A&M and Arkansas. Cole, look, I picked Texas to win and cover. Was wrong. I picked Texas A&M to win and cover. I was wrong. Am I just on an island here as the only guy who's still not a believer in Arkansas? Or you got Georgia coming up this week and then a trip to Ole Miss, so the record may have its first couple of blemishes. But how good is Arkansas?
They are a very good football team. And, that's another thing, just kind of big picture college football, that I think we lose sight of sometimes. And, we want to know, do they have a better quarterback? How many draft picks do they have? How have their recruiting been? So on and so forth. But, what makes Arkansas good is, first and foremost, the kids have bought in. The effort that they put forth every single week, is the biggest difference between last year and 2 years ago. When you put that Arkansas film on, Matt, and the effort was night and day. Guys finishing blocks, multiple players showing up to make the tackle, nobody giving up on plays, the backside of plays defensively, tracking plays down, offensive guys, trying to get 5, 15, 20 yards downfield to get an extra block. It was night and day. It was completely different. So I think first and foremost, that is totally different, and that's something you're going to get. And then the plan that you get offensively and defensively every week. I don't know when the last time I came out of watching their game on Sunday or had their game and said to myself, man, they got outcoached on either side of the ball or completely. It hasn't happened in a long time. Go look at the Alabama game last year. Yeah, the score was bad, but they didn't get outcoached, and they held Mac Jones to 208 yards passing. I mean, they made life more difficult on that Alabama offense than maybe any other team Alabama played last year. So they are very well coached. They give great effort. They bought in, and now they've added a few more guys. The defensive line is pretty good. The quarterback's coming around with what he's able to do through the air. We know he can hurt you with his legs. You got one of the best safeties in college football. You got a group of linebackers. Let's just be honest, they're not going to play in the NFL, but they know how to do what's being asked of them inside their scheme. Offensive line plays with great continuity. Probably no NFL guys there either, but they play great ball together and have a great understanding of what the scheme is asking them to do on each individual play. So I do think they're a very good football team. And again, they might not be a team that everybody really likes to talk about for a lot of those reasons. But I think a lot of those reasons that people like to ignore go a long way in making them a good football team.
Yeah, man. I mean, that maybe a team that finishes 8-4, but still it would be such an incredible turnaround considering
He should be coach of the year if he goes 8-4. I don't care what Alabama does. I don't care what Ole Miss does. I don't care what Georgia does. If Sam Pittman goes 8-4 with what I perceive to be the hardest schedule in the country entering the season, and I think there were some metrics that actually had it as that, he should be the SEC coach of the year, and I don't really think there should be a conversation about it.
I would agree with you, and I think most people probably do fall in line. So where does that leave A&M then, Cole, after this loss?
Circling the wagons, honestly, because they were not the more physical team at any point in that game. And when you think about the Kenyon Green, DeMarvin Leal, PV, some of the guys that they do have up front, they do have NFL guys, O-line and D-line. Now, their O-line is a patchwork unit right now. They're having to move guys around. I mean, Kenyon Green goes to left tackle in the spring. Then he starts the season at right tackle. Then they bump him down the guard. Then he has to go from right guard to left tackle in that game. You know how Matthews at center. You're playing a true freshman at right tackle. That's not ideal, and I get that, and I know that. But the reality is you have one of the better running backs in the league. You have maybe one of the better slot guys in the league. You have maybe the best tight end in the league. You have a Swiss Army knife running back, hybrid receiver, whatever you want to call him, athlete, we'll say, that's about as good at doing what he does as anybody in the league. You shouldn't have to have great quarterback play to make things work offensively. And Jimbo's system does require that. I mean, it requires you to be a guy that can make decisions, a guy that can process things, and then obviously a guy that can make some throws, some tough throws at that. So all that said, they're in a bad spot right now because the quarterback doesn't look confident at all. And the offensive line's not able to give him a ton of time, and they're not able to open up holes for Spiller like they did a year ago. And then defensively, that D-line had been carrying them, and all of a sudden last week, I don't really know what that was. That was uncharacteristic of what they had been for the majority of the season. So I think there's got to be some soul searching going on right now at A&M, trying to figure out what their identity is going to be, who they're going to be moving forward. And then all of a sudden, like we just talked about, they get the weirdest team in the country coming in. So how do you handle that? Like, do you go out? Could you go out and gain 250 yards and win this game? Do you need to put up 450 yards and 40 points to win this game? Like this, and that's why when I say that, I think it's a little bit relevant. When I say they're the weirdest team in the country, is like I don't think there's a direct blueprint as to what to do to beat them. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be super tough to beat for everybody, but it's just you might have to be very different to beat them, or you might not play a great game in a couple facets and still be able to find a way to beat them. or you might play well and still not beat them. And it's just there's a lot of ways that game with those guys can go, and that's kind of why I keep bringing that up.
I know you're going to be in College Station this week for that one, so you'll get the Aggies, and it'll be interesting to see how they rebound. Hey, before you go, does Auburn light cigars in Tiger Stadium for the first time since you and your crew back in '99?
I mean, if I was there, I would.
Regardless, just light up a stogie. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Somebody asked me the other day, like, are you guys – this is hilarious. You'll love this. Somebody asked me the other day, like, so are you guys like the 72 Dolphins where you guys light a cigar every year when Auburn doesn't win there? And I was like, I can't even say on the air what I said to myself, but, like, what kind of question is that, first and foremost? Like, I would never celebrate my alma mater losing. Is it still an accomplishment that we won there the last time? I don't even know. I don't even know if I would categorize that as an accomplishment. It was then. Sure as hell isn't now because it's been so long. So, but if I was there, yeah, I would absolutely have one going.
Well,
but
I'll be smoking a cigar after the game regardless because we do our post-game show at Don Juan's Cigar Bar. So T-Bob and I smoke a stogie, drink some whiskey, and do a Facebook and YouTube live post-game show. So
I don't feel like you're going to be fielding many text messages from me saying, it's about time. So,
hit me up either way, man. I'd enjoy it. Cole Cubelic, SEC Network. He's on Twitter at Cole Cubelic. Always enjoy the visits, man. I appreciate a couple of minutes.
Absolutely, man. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, man, you got it. All right, Cole Cubelic. It's a great story. I mean, from an LSU fan's perspective, it sucked when they won and smoked cigars. But 2 years later, LSU got him back, and that was, by the way, 20 years ago when LSU won the SEC West for the first time to punch their ticket to Atlanta, beating Auburn in a game that was rescheduled post 9/11, a December Saturday in Tiger Stadium. I'll never forget it, man. Storming the field after. It was a great moment in LSU football. And 99, the last time the Auburn Tigers won in Tiger Stadium, incredibly. It's been that long, but it has been. And a little piece of history on the line again this weekend with Auburn coming in. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling a home, you know what to do. Call Darren James, get your home sold. I mean, if you want the best, why would you hire anyone other than, like, the literal best? Darren James, among the top 1% of realtors in America. This is on the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. Darren James and his team are on that list. In the top 100, as a matter of fact. Absolutely amazing the volume that they do. They get results. 335-7666. That's Darren's cell phone number. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Agent225.com. Remember, working with Darren obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled, fire him. Let you out of the contract free and clear. But you won't be. There's a reason he's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. Because Darren James gets results. So, if you need to sell your home, call Darren James. Get your home sold. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Welcome back. We've missed you. We know it's been tough. Because rebuilding your business isn't for the faint of heart. Your business needs a jump start. And we're here to help. Introducing Surge, symmetrical speed fiber internet from eTel Business. Revved up data speeds at 30% off, plus 3 months free. We're glad you're back, and we're here to make your business surge.
If you're in a
an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. Not always that we'll have a ton to get to in the middle of football season with respect to the Pelicans or the NBA, but this was relevant today. Zion Williamson, we learned, underwent off-season surgery on a broken foot. The Pelicans are optimistic, though, that he'll be ready for the opener. And Zion had his media day availability today, and our buddy Fletcher Mackel from WDSU apparently asked a really good question. Here's how the interaction went with Zion after Fletcher asked him his opinion on the organization, if he's happy here.
Fletcher, that might be the best question of the day. I'm glad you asked that. I feel like nobody's ever asked me that, so I'm glad you asked. How I feel about the organization? Per me. I love it here. I love the city of New Orleans. Don't want to be anywhere else. My relationship with Griff, I don't think he can play the piano, last time I checked. Fletcher.
That was in reaction to a piece that came out last week, maybe questioning the relationship that Griffin and Zion had and Zion's relationship with the organization. So from Zion's own mouth there, it certainly seems like, and they give a much longer answer there in that whole entire bite, but he certainly seems like a guy who was very candid. So listen, we don't agree on everything all the time, but who does agree on everything all the time? I mean, it seems like a guy who's very much committed to winning here, and that's great to see. He's a young guy who's embraced New Orleans, and New Orleans has embraced him. Just need them to win, and hopefully with Willie Green and so, this is the opportunity they can do it. Certainly an organization used to winning is the New Orleans Saints, and they did so on Sunday in New England against the Patriots. Sean Payton, after the game, was measured as he usually is. And one of the things that he did talk about with respect to the defense, this is 5 from last night with Kudmuso, but he talked about the overall defensive performance against the Patriots.
Yeah, look, I thought we tackled in space well today, number one. I thought we affected the quarterback. When it became a little bit more one-dimensional, obviously it's harder. It's a little bit more difficult than to consistently generate the rush, but thought we kept the ball in front of us. And, I'm sure when we watch the tape, there'll be some things that stand out, but I really thought we tackled well.
It tackled well, but the other thing he said there was we affected the quarterback. And that is the thing that really, to me, stood out. The Saints got 2 sacks on the day. And oddly enough, they came from C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Tano Passanio, two guys that were unavailable last week. So, yeah, it helps having your best players available, no doubt. But it wasn't just the sacks. They had 8 passes defended. They had 6 tackles for loss in the game. And maybe most importantly, aside from the 2 sacks, 11 quarterback hits in the game. And maybe none more impactful than Caden Ellis hitting Mac Jones, forcing the errant throw, which results in a pick 6. I mean, the Saints routinely affected Mac Jones, which resulted in his 3 interceptions on the day. Last week, we talked about 2 things primarily. I told you a lot about the red zone disparity, the Saints' success in the red zone at 100% coming into this game, which was best in the NFL, obviously, whereas the Patriots at 28% red zone efficiency was dead last in the NFL. That was one. And then the other thing was what Sean Payton talked about all week, which was New England's record at home since 2000 when they win the turnover battle. And he impressed that upon his team all week, and the Saints protected the football. They did not turn it over. Meanwhile, New England had 3 interceptions on the day. And, of course, the pick 6, the defensive score, was massive, and the turnover early in the game set up the Saints for a score. And, that is how they're winning right now. And that's perfectly fine. Win with defense and what you can get on offense until you get everyone back. Now, this is going to be a very interesting week. Share some other thoughts on the game from Sunday in just a second. But remember, the Saints did not put Eric McCoy on IR. If you go to IR, you have to miss 3 weeks. They did not put him on IR. He's missed 2. So hopefully you get Eric McCoy back this week. It's also worth noting that Teron Armstead left the game with injury and did not return. It looked like a little friendly fire. They kind of slowed it down. It showed Tony Jones, it looked like, was trying to make a block, and he just caught Teron Armstead's arm extended. So it's a bummer that it was friendly fire. It's never good, however it happens, but even more so how it happened. But you could get Eric McCoy back this week. Maybe not. We don't have an update, but here's hoping. There's a reason they didn't put him on IRs. They're thinking they might get him back within 3 weeks. The players that did go on IR that are eligible to return, Traquan Smith. So as much as we have clamored for and wondered about more options offensively and in the passing game, as much as I have sort of washed my hands of Traquan Smith as any type of a long-term contributor in this organization, whatever that may be, anybody who's got experience is going to be welcomed at this point. So, yeah, getting Traquan Smith back. Nick Vannett is also back. Look, we were all really excited about Juwan Johnson after the first game when he scored 2 touchdowns. And he hasn't had he had 1 reception yet last week, but hasn't really been impactful. Same thing with Adam Troutman, unfortunately. This guy that took more snaps toward the end of the season last year. And we were all hoping, and I know I certainly was, expecting a big leap forward in year 2 for Troutman. It just hasn't happened so far through 3 weeks. Maybe it will. Just take some time. But in the meantime, you get Nick Vannett back this week. So that'll at least give you a big-body tight end in the mold that Sean Payton really likes. You'll get Ken Crawley back, which will add some depth to your secondary. You'll get Will Clapp back, which, if you need, Will not only is your backup center, but he also a lot of times is that tackle eligible. The extra lineman that they run out onto the field in certain jumbo packages. And maybe even most importantly, is Will Lutz is able to return. Now, we've got no word yet on Will Lutz's condition, if he's ready to return from the abdominal injury. But Aldrich Rosas missed 2 field goals. I can forgive missing the 52-yarder, although in today's NFL, it's really difficult to forgive any miss when you got dudes banging 66-yarders. But the 36-yarder, which is basically an extra point, is unforgivable. I mean, that was a situation where, when the Saints were up 8, that missed field goal was the reason you were still we were in a 1-score game instead of a 2-score game. Now, thankfully, the Saints put together that drive late to ice it, but getting Will Lutz back would be massive for the Saints, provided he's healthy. So this is a big week for New Orleans. They're at home against the Giants. Regardless of who is available, I told you now I'm going to pick it all week. I'm picking the Saints to beat the Giants. I mean, the emotion of that game alone, being in the Dome with a capacity crowd in the Dome for the first time since 2019, post-Ida, everything on the line. Absolutely, I'm picking in the opponent. I mean, the Giants just are no good. I'm absolutely picking New Orleans to win this game, and it should be a giant emotional game, and hopefully the Saints will win it, move to 3-1, but you should get some of these guys back this week. And then, aside from the fact that Teron Armstead left injured, other than that, you came out of that game mostly healthy. C.J. Gardner-Johnson did leave the game temporarily, but returned. And then Shy Tuttle. The weird thing about Shy Tuttle is if you saw the play where he was injured, it looked like he was kind of reaching for his shoulder. But officially, he left for the concussion protocol and then was able to return. He passed the concussion protocol, was able to return. It was odd that it looked like he was holding his shoulder. But nonetheless, the Saints did seem to leave that game mostly healthy, and they're going to get healthier and more whole as they move forward. So, Saints 2-1, winners on the road against New England, at home, back in New Orleans finally after a month-long being sort of a vagabond team here for the last month, leaving pre-Ida and not returning to New Orleans since, but now back home in New Orleans and getting ready for their official home opener now against the Giants Sunday in the Superdome. All right, it's further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We still got a ton to do here. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 2. Muso will have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up the hour. Next hour, we talked about it a bit with Cole Cubelic, but Finley or Knicks, who is LSU going to see in Tiger Stadium this week? Also, Adam Amin, who was on the call for Fox along with Mark Schlereth for Saints and Patriots. He'll be with us 30 minutes from right now. More of what Ed Orgeron had to say, recapping State and previewing Auburn. And we'll get to a lot of your calls, texts, emails, and tweets. So a lot of ways to get involved in the show. Feel free to do it. We'll wrap up hour number 2. Muso will have Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Get it done right the first time. Look, you could try to go with Chuck in a truck because he might be able to save you $1. Or you could hire a reputable company that's been around since 1980, that's got more 5-star reviews than anyone. Read the Google reviews. Read the Facebook reviews. See time and time again why so many people are thrilled with the service that River City's 1 Hour Air provides. You know, every time a technician comes to your house, you get a call, an email, and a text alerting you that a technician's on the way. Not only that, but you get the name, a photo, and reviews of that technician sent to you so you can feel comfortable with who's coming into your home. And they're going to do a great job the first time, every time. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. Look for the big yellow trucks and vans with the giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
And our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines
fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Start things in Kansas City. Clyde Edwards-Helaire yesterday, 17 carries. 17 carries, 100 yards. About 6 yards per carry for Clyde yesterday with a long of 14. Added 2 receptions for 9 yards and a touchdown.
Helaire. Got it.
Helaire.
Got it.
Odell Beckham Jr. made his return for the Cleveland Browns. No. Isidore Newman, as a matter of fact, yeah.
It's habit. Have it. You're going to get DJ LeMahieu for the go-ahead RBI on this one today, Tigers in the Pros? You're going to get that one?
DJ scored the go-ahead RBI?
He had the go-ahead RBI. Yes. Earlier in the game.
Which one?
Before Giancarlo and Judge started hitting jacks and all that stuff. Is he in there?
No, but he was 2 for 4 with an RBI.
I can't imagine why
and a run scored.
would omit DJ LeMahieu from Tigers in the Pros today. I can't imagine why.
A lot of NFL and a couple current baseball stories from today. Just kind of it took precedence.
Oh, of course it
took
did.
precedence.
Precedent.
Yeah. Odell Beckham Jr. 5 receptions.
Like sheep's wool.
Five receptions off 9 targets for 77 yards in the return. Long of 26. Added a carry for 10 yards as well. Welcome back to Odell Beckham Jr. Deion Jones yesterday for the Falcons in their win. 13 total tackles. 8 of them were solo. 1 of them was for a loss. Those 13 total tackles, for what it's worth, were second on the team. Somebody else had 14. Joe Burrow, another solid day. 14 of 18. Not a lot of attempts, but made the most of all of them. 172 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But the biggest story of them all, Matt, Joe Burrow was not sacked yesterday. Not one time. So a tip of the cap to the Bengals offensive line.
Protect those ACLs,
About
Bengals.
time.
There we go.
About time. 4 of those passes went to Jamar Chase.
Oh, is he good at football
65 yards, an average of 16 yards a catch, and 2 touchdowns to the long of 34. The man has 4 touchdowns in 3 games.
I saw youngest to have 4 touchdowns in 3 games in NFL history. The previous was Randy Moss, who had 3 in 3 games.
Was he any good?
Yep.
You know, Randy Moss held a lot of records until Justin Jefferson broke them all last year.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Jefferson, 9 catches off of 11 targets, 118 yards and a touchdown. That's a long of 28 with that one. 13 yards per catch for Jets yesterday. And a gritty mixed in there, or probably 2 or 3. Jamal Adams yesterday for the Seahawks, 12 total tackles, 10 of them solo, 1 of those for a loss. That was on the other side of the Vikings, as a matter of fact.
They had a streaker do the gritty.
And then get tackled at the 1 yard line. He didn't even score a touchdown. It was so disappointing. To Major League Baseball today, Alex Lang, 1 shutout inning of relief, and the Tigers lost. Gave up a hit, no runs, 18 pitches, 11 for strikes. Lang, an ERA of 4.24 so far on the year. Colin Lewis pointed this out on Twitter. He was also involved in a skirmish. Started after a throw down to second base.
I think it's a skirmish. Not
skirmish.
Not a skirmish.
It was a baseball fight. So, I mean, everybody got really injured.
You've had precedents and skirmish.
Yeah, you know.
What's going on, Musso?
I don't know. You threw me off by throwing out the DJ LeMahieu thing. It messed everything up. So Lang had to be restrained by an umpire today, but not really because
nobody was going to do anything.
Nobody did anything.
So there he is getting restrained. There he is. Look, there he is getting restrained. Oh, well, we missed him.
And finally, Jaden Hill's throwing a baseball. He's in the Rockies organization. He posted this video on Twitter. The rehab process has started. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com.
All messed up, bro.
Your mic wasn't on. Good on Jaden Hill. All right, now hour 3 coming up next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. I was in Dutchtown yesterday to go watch my little nephew play football. St. Jude Cougars, big winners, by the way. Shout out to St. Jude. But got to pass right by the Shawbills in Dutchtown, right there on 74. You can't miss it if you exit the interstate, or I guess it would be on 73 before you turn on 74. It doesn't matter. You know where it is, right there in Dutchtown. It's Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. You can go to the website, and there's a chat function right there at the bottom right. So if you want to chat with an associate, easy. Just go to the chat function bottom right, select the location nearest you, and then boom, you're chatting with a Shawbills customer service technician right there. ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you. They sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They treat you like family, so they keep you coming back to Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hand injury lawyers.
This is Sportscenter.
I'm Christine Lisi at this hour. Receiver Josh Gordon's application for reinstatement to the NFL approved today by Commissioner Roger Goodell. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Gordon plans to sign with the Chiefs. Gordon, coming off his sixth suspension since the 2013 season, is eligible to play this week. When it comes to the Bears starting quarterback for Sunday's game against the Lions, everything's on the table. Coach Matt Nagy telling reporters today that Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, all under consideration to start. Fields had a rough go in place of the injured Dalton in the loss to the Browns. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
Everybody has their opinion and their connotation and context about what Matt Nagy did. The worst thing Matt Nagy did was put his entire team in a bad situation. Matt Nagy lost his mind yesterday as a head coach in the NFL, and it's probably going to cost him his job.
Marcus Spears on This Just In. NBA news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Nuggets forward Michael Porter Jr. agreeing on a 5-year designated max extension, could be worth up to $207 million.
We're back on Tuesday, reacting to Monday Night Football as the Cowboys look for their second straight win and first in the division. We'll tell you if their defense showed up against Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Tuesday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. LSU gets a win at Mississippi State. LSU plays Auburn this week. Saints, of course, winners in New England. They'll be at home in the Dome against the Giants. We will talk to Adam Amin of Fox Sports in about 12 minutes from right now. Adam and Mark Schlereth were on the call for Saints Patriots. Want to get Adam's perspective. I've been there, been around the Saints. Their coaching staff, players this week, the lead up to the game against New England, how they responded from the Carolina loss, and how they look moving forward. We'll get to all that with Adam Amin here in about 12 minutes from right now. LSU gets a win. Auburn got a win by the hardest, and one of the big storylines that we will be following this week, all week, is TJ Finley or Bo Nix. Who is going to start for Auburn this Saturday? Now, my assumption is, and I know I've heard a lot of conversation about this, many, I think, are assuming that TJ Finley is going to start. I'm not one of them. I think Bo Nix is going to start this game. He's been a starter now for 3 years. That outing isn't enough, I think, to cost him his job entirely. Finley did go in and lead the 98-yard touchdown drive in the final minutes there. Threw the touchdown pass on 4th down to give Auburn the lead with inside of a minute to go, 45 seconds to go, as a matter of fact. Finley was far from perfect. He was 9 of 16 for 97 yards and a score. He played in the first 2 games, the blowouts against Akron and Arkansas or Alabama State, as well. But I think Bo Nix is going to start this game Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Now, Brian Harsin, the Auburn coach, after the game on Saturday, was asked about the decision to put Finley in the game when he did.
Just thinking we needed some momentum. I think that was really wasn't just him. It was trying to find something on the offensive side. We did some things out of character, and we overcame it. But it was really just about giving TJ an opportunity to go in there and create something, and he was able to do that. And so I'm proud of him for that. He works hard too. So Bo's played hard. Bo's done a good job for us. So from that standpoint, there's no issues that way. It's just a matter of we needed something to happen in this game, and we needed to make a change, and we did.
Certainly feels like he's telling you without telling you there that there isn't much of a controversy. But if things do get tough in Tiger Stadium on Saturday, I think that they won't hesitate to go to TJ Finley. But I am expecting that it will be Bo Nix starting. Now, Ed Orgeron today, Monday, met with the media, as he normally does on Mondays, and he was asked the TJ Finley question about TJ coming back to Baton Rouge.
Well, first of all, TJ came talk to me like a man in my office. He didn't want to leave. He was crying. And LSU meant a lot to him, but I knew that. And but it was a decision that was made that it was best for him. And so he left, and he looks like he's doing well. So, hey, we wish him the best, not obviously against us, but hey, TJ is always going to be a part of our family. He's from Ponchatoula. He's got a great family. So, hey, after the game, we're going to shake hands. It's just like us playing Cody. It's family, but once we compete, we compete. And we wish him the very best, and I hope he does very well. And we're going to shake his hand after the game.
Did you hear Ed Orgeron at the beginning say he came to my office crying? He didn't want to leave. You can read between the lines with this. TJ Finley came on this show after he announced his transfer, if you remember. And I asked him point blank about his family and how they felt about the decision. And let's pull that up and have it for this week. I don't know if you have it handy. It's okay if not, Muse. I know I didn't prep you on that. But I want to pull that up because that is going to be a storyline this week. And I'm paraphrasing, but what TJ Finley said on this show was, sometimes parents make decisions that they think are best for you when they really don't know what's best for you. I mean, he basically told us he didn't want to leave LSU. His family essentially made the decision for him. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's effectively what he told us. Ed Orgeron just told you the same thing. He was crying. He didn't want to leave. But a decision was made. I mean, he's telling you without telling you what happened. So, Finley, I think it was obvious when we saw him against South Carolina. As a true freshman, with the big arm, with a lot of the poise, made the plays. He led a game-winning touchdown drive on the road against Arkansas in the rain. Had a tough go, obviously, at Auburn on the road when everything seemed to go against LSU in that game. Either way, man, he's a talented kid, and he's going to be a really good SEC quarterback. And I think LSU's got a really good SEC quarterback as well in Max Johnson, who keeps getting better and better, has made just 6 career starts. But, Finley was asked about coming back to LSU, and he said, quote, "It's going to be amazing. A lot of players there have supported my decision to come here. There's no bad blood with LSU at all because they understand the situation I was put in. I can't wait to go back. I told all my teammates, it's my homecoming." So TJ Finley will return to Tiger Stadium this Saturday. Do you have it? No, it's okay. Wait, do you or no? No, it's okay. It's okay. For what it's worth, and we're going to get to Adam Amin here in less than 10 minutes, the early betting line, the early line, it has LSU as a 3.5-point favorite over Auburn. So it opened up at 4. It's been bet down to 3.5. See where it settles around kickoff. But some of the reaction to that spread has been a little surprised. People saying they're surprised LSU's favorite. I want to remind you of a couple of things. When we talked to Jimmy about this line over the spring and summer, when you started to see, it happens in the spring somewhere, some sports books will put out point spreads for some of the bigger games in college football, and they'll take early wagers on those. Well, some of the sports books that put out a line for LSU and Auburn had LSU as a 7-point favorite, a touchdown favorite over Auburn. So the fact that LSU is favored in this game should not be a surprise. That's number one. Number two, I'll remind you also that Auburn, their projected win total this season was 7.5. So Auburn was impressive the first 2 weeks of the season. They also played Akron, who's maybe the worst team in the FBS, and they played an FCS school from the SWAC. They blew out both of them. And then they went and punched at their own weight, played a really competitive game, but lost an emotional game on the road at Penn State. No harm in that. I mean, it was a hell of a game, and they had their shots in it. It didn't work out. And this was an emotional letdown. There's no doubt. You come home against Georgia State. I mean, Georgia State's coached by Sean Elliott, who was the offensive line coach at South Carolina, who knows the SEC well. He's been in every SEC venue, knew what to expect, knew the personnel, got his team ready to play. That it was a great game by Georgia State, and they just came up short. But, I mean, Auburn benched their starting quarterback in a close call against Georgia State. Now they're on the road against LSU. Should be favored in this game. Like, I'm not in any way surprised by that. The question I have in this game isn't even going to be about Bo Nix or TJ Finley. The question for me is just going to be about the line of scrimmage. Because this is an Auburn team that right now is very balanced offensively. They throw it for 227 a game. They run it for 257 a game. It's a really balanced rushing attack with Tank Bigsby. This week they got Sean Shivers back. That's going to be a giant challenge for LSU's defensive front seven. There's just no two ways around it. Like, can LSU prevent Auburn from going off for 250 yards rushing? If Auburn runs for 250 yards against LSU, they're going to win. But LSU's defensive front seven has played really well the last 3 weeks, including this week on the road against Mississippi State. So let's see how that matchup shakes out. There's going to be a lot of conversations about the quarterbacks, justifiably so, but I think that game is going to come down to something far different than Finley or Bo Nix or Max Johnson. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You miss anything AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Adam Amin, Fox Sports, was on the call for Saints Patriots. He'll join us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
At Hancock Whitney Bank for more than 120 years, their mantra has been, your dreams, our mission. That's Hancock Whitney Bank. If it's buying a home, if it's starting that small business, if it's putting your kids through college, or if it's recovering from Hurricane Ida, that's where Hancock Whitney steps in, because it's what they've done for the Gulf region for 120 years. Log on to HancockWhitney.com, HancockWhitney.com, or you can find a financial center near you. Find your branch. Mine is right there, Highland at I-10. I've been a Hancock Whitney customer for as long as I've had a bank. And it's so refreshing to walk into a branch and have them know your name and what your goals and your mission is. It's Hancock Whitney Bank. Online at HancockWhitney.com. That's HancockWhitney.com.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at PatientPlusUC.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Glad you're rolling along with us here, Monday edition of AFR, driving you home. Adam Amin, Fox Sports, was on the call with Mark Schlereth for Saints Patriots. He's good enough to jump aboard with us here for a couple of minutes. How are you, man?
What's going on, brother? Great to talk to you.
Always great to have you on the show, man. We appreciate a couple of minutes. What was the circumstance like covering the Saints this week, where it's obviously been so bizarre with the coaches out and then them really not even being home for a month?
You know, it was a little bit back to normal this week, obviously, just because, you know, you go from not having, 8 or 9 coaches to only missing a couple of guys. You know, that obviously changes the preparation process during the week. Although, Sean made it a point to say, well, it wasn't the coaches, it wasn't, any of that last week against Carolina. It was on me. Like, now most head coaches are going to say that, but you did really get the sense that they were trying to flush everything. Sean, I appreciate his willingness to say that and have us kind of run with that as the story of the week. And I think you could also get the sense from talking with Demario Davis, Shannon Spake, our reporter, talked with Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara, and I think everybody just wanted to be done with this road trip, this impromptu, out of necessity road trip. I think everybody was you guys probably talked about the Instagram stories and how happy guys were and just, relieved it feels like guys were to get back home. And they played with a sense of urgency this week. I think everything that Sean told us, the things that he was on the lookout for with Jameis, everything that they had in terms of sense for this week of trying to get through this, prepare much better than they did a week ago and get home with a victory and a winning record. All those things kind of came to fruition. So this was a classic Saints bounce back performance that has, I would imagine, been fairly typical of coaches like Sean Payton. We mentioned it on the broadcast, Payton and Belichick, two of the best coming off a bad loss or a game where they felt like they were ill prepared. They never really seemed to put two of those together in back-to-back weeks. So it's kind of what we expected.
Yeah, it's almost like you just looked at my sheet because I actually had written down, did you expect the bounce back? The two words that you just mentioned there. I mean, Adam, when you miss 8 coaches and 5 starters week to week, the margin in the league is so thin. But when you saw what you watched at Carolina and then what we saw yesterday against New England, were you expecting that much of a dramatic improvement?
I'm not sure how much of an improvement I was expecting, but because I think we have a tendency to look at the postscript and be like, all right, well, it's easy to connect the dots from A to B now. They had C.J. Gardner-Johnson playing coverage, and he was excellent in the game against New England. They got Lattimore back. Obviously, that's a major improvement. They had Paulson and Debo playing a little tighter this week compared to last week, where he was playing really far off and kind of giving up the underneath stuff. So scheme-wise, you can say, well, yeah, it fits better because New England's not taking a ton of deep shots. They're kind of keeping things in front of, the Saints are keeping things in front of them for the most part, which is where they're at their best because of Davis and what the nickel can do in Gardner-Johnson. So I just, maybe scheme-wise, it fit a little bit better, but I don't want to assume that. I don't want to make that a causation correlation thing automatically. It may just be because they prepared better. They were more energized. And when Kamara comes out and says we were ill prepared, that carries weight, right? So just seeing a prepared Carolina team ready for what was a limited Mac Jones offense, I think, I guess you could expect a reasonable improvement. I didn't think it was going to be to the extent of which we saw, because I thought maybe New England was going to try to get a little bit more creative offensively. So I didn't know if it was going to be the way, what it was yesterday. It was definitely better than what I was expecting.
Adam Amin is our guest. He was on the call for Saints Patriots. He's on Twitter at Adam Amin. You also mentioned Jameis, which, that's obviously just a lightning rod topic, not only here, but all over the NFL. So, you've seen him for his career. What were your impressions watching him yesterday in person?
I'll say this too, and this is more tongue-in-cheek than anything else, but, like, yeah, I'm aware that talking about Jameis is a lightning rod.
Right.
So when you do Saints games now, I think it's going to be all year because Matt, can I get on a soapbox? We're
Please.
friends. You know,
Absolutely.
This is you and me. This is just you and me talking.
Right.
I understand this is going to sound like whiny national broadcaster talk. It probably is. So if you want to disregard it, listening, feel free. I understand. It's just me getting something off my chest. Like, we frame Jameis Winston throws, including the Callaway touchdown, as dangerous, risky, things of that nature. And then we were criticized a little bit by a small vocal minority of Saints fans. Oh, well, you don't talk about Mac Jones that way, which is a lie because when he threw the near pick to C.J. Gardner-Johnson with, the final minute of the game, the words out of my mouth were dangerous ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I'm not playing double standards here. I call it as I see it. And I called Jameis Winston's first NFL game. And I remember the pass that he threw to Cody Sensabaugh that got taken the other way against the Tennessee Titans. I saw it from interception 1. I know what this kid does. He is a risk taker. Now, if you want to frame him as Brett Favre, feel free to call him a gunslinger, but he doesn't have the pedigree. He doesn't have the starts that Favre did, and he doesn't have the pedigree. He doesn't have enough of a touchdown to interception ratio at this point in his career, 70-plus starts in, to be able to make that claim. So to me, he's a risk taker in a bad way, and when Sean Payton tells us that he needs to be better about it and that the throws are dangerous, and when Sean Payton comes out after the game and says, we were fortunate to get away with that one, and Jameis Winston essentially apologizes to Sean Payton for the throw, I'd like to think that we're not framing him inaccurately, because there's context between Mac Jones making career start 3 and Jameis Winston making career start 70, whatever it was. So that's why it's going to be framed that way. And in fact, Shannon's report out of the gate was Sean Payton said anytime Jameis Winston throws an interception from here on out, somebody is going to stand up and question him because he threw 30 interceptions in a season. So that is going to, rightfully so, as a paid professional in the NFL, going to follow him for a while until he proves to you, me, every Saints fan at home, and every team around the league otherwise. Does that mean he didn't play well yesterday? Absolutely not. He played much sharper. He handled communication far better. He did take fewer risks, and he did throw. It wasn't like every fifth throw was a bad one. He had accuracy. There were some bullets in there. But the throw to Troutman with 3 defenders around, the throw to Callaway, which worked out great, and you should be praised for getting the touchdown, but you're going to have to worry about that going forward. These are the things that are entering my head, Mark Schlereth's head, whoever's calling your Saints games for the next 12 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever it is. Everybody's going to be thinking the same thing. So it's going to be a week-to-week litmus test for your starting quarterback as long as he is the starting quarterback, and that is rightfully earned based on his pedigree, his reputation, and the improvements that he is trying to make in this offense.
Bro, that's the most fired up I've ever heard you. Don't let those Twitter trolls get you.
No, I got you. And like I said, it's
no,
I
you're
hope
right.
you guys understand that's just me. Like, that was on my mind because this is how I swear to you, I don't think about this job at a surface level. I think about the job that I do for you. I want to do a good job for when I have the Saints, and I'm sure we'll see them again at some point. And we saw them plenty last year. I want to do a good job for you guys. You have a great football team. You have a great run organization. I want good things to happen to you guys. And so far, 2-1, you'll take that, right?
Man.
2 good games from Jameis Winston equaling 2 wins, and 1 bad game led to a loss. That's how the NFL works. And so far, you guys are 2-1, and it's not a bad place to be.
Didn't you have the Denver game last year? Didn't we talk after that? When it was like the practice squad receiver playing quarterback. I mean,
Kendall Hinton, the practice squad wide receiver. Jeff Driscoll's out. Blake Bortles out. Drew Lock out. Bunch of coaches out. They were thinking about signing one of their assistant coaches to play quarterback the night before the game. So,
wait, is that real?
That was a dramatic turn.
Wait, is that real? Were they really going to sign an assistant the night before the game?
That one of their quality control guys is a former UCF quarterback, had been knew the system enough, and I think he was part of the scout team or whatever, or would help run the scout team. the NFL said you cannot do that. You cannot add a coach to become a player. So they had to move Kendall Hinton from the practice squad to the elevated roster as QB.
I don't know if I just don't remember that or if I didn't know that or forgot it or whatever, but that's a crazy anecdote to that story that I just didn't recall. Adam Amin's with us. A couple more minutes on Twitter, at Adam Amin. Fox play-by-play announcer, had Saints and Patriots yesterday. So the Saints are 2-1. I keep impressing upon our audience here, Adam, like 2-1 with a roster that is still sans some of its best players, Michael Thomas, David Onyemata, more like Will Lutz is going to come back. When you look at the Saints at 2-1 and you realize who is still going to join this roster, like how much better, what's the gap for this team right now?
Listen, the defense is still there, and I framed the game yesterday as such. Like these are still teams that have leaned on their defenses, not just in games this year to win, but for a long period of time. You know, New England and New Orleans have had top 10 scoring defense for the better part of a decade now. So even through the Breeze and Brady years, these are defensive-minded teams that play a hard-nosed style and are very athletic at every level. You have all-pro caliber players at every level. So, you know, you got Cam Jordan, you got DeMario Davis, you got a Malcolm Jenkins, you got a Marshawn Lattimore. These are guys who can have an all-pro type season just about any year, and then you add the depth behind them. The defensive line rotation looked really solid. Roach had a good play against Carolina. He and Tuttle did a decent job in their split snaps. So when Onyemata gets back, that's a big boost, obviously. We saw what happened in the defensive backfield. They struggled last week because they didn't have their nickel, and that nickel position, you know this, is more and more important as spread has become more apparent, 4 wide looks, now having to decipher a 2 tight end set. A lot of what New England ran yesterday is 2 tights. So C.J. Gardner-Johnson becomes that much more of a focal point defensively. And look what happened. When he was out, they struggled. When he was back in, he made impact. So I have this sense that defensively, no matter what, this is going to be one of the better teams in the NFC. If they can hang offensively with the Tampa Bay, who I know struggled a little bit against L.A., but you know that's a really good Tampa Bay offense. Their offensive line's great. The health of this offense scares me. If Teron Armstead is going to be out for – I know he's probably not. I think I saw he was fine. But if he ends up dealing with injury again, Andrus Peat, if he stays healthy, if McCoy can come back, then this is going to be an offense that's going to be a little harder to deal with. If they can bully, I think Mark said it yesterday, if they can bully people the way they did yesterday, and I'd really think they bullied New England for the most part on both sides in the trenches. If they can continue to do that, I think they'll be fine. Jameis is going to lose you a game at some point, I think, based on track record. Now, if he improves, great. But Jameis might lose you a game or two. But if the offensive line is good, Jameis is going to win you a game or two as well. And maybe a game that you don't expect to win, or maybe you have some early struggles in. I think he can still win you a game if that offensive line plays the way it did yesterday.
And that 75-yard drive was it was just gorgeous to watch at the end. The 3rd and 7 conversion to Deontay Harris and then Taysom Hill leaping dudes. It was a beautiful sight when they needed it.
Well, that throw, again, we talked about it, man. I know Jameis had a couple of risky passes, and we called him out as such, but when he bullets passes in there, that conversion to Harris was a money throw. He saw Adam Troutman sitting in a zone at one point and drilled the ball in there. It was the Stills ball.
Stills, yeah.
That throw to Stills was a money ball. So he's making much better decisions already week to week. I'm just saying, like I said, going back to belabor the point and put a bow on it, that it's going to be a week to week test. And if he continues to improve, you're going to see 1 or 2, maybe a game at the end of the season. But it's 2 or 3 less than what you saw last week, or 2 or 3 less than what you saw when he was running it in Tampa Bay. I have high hopes. I think at its best, this is going to be a good offense.
Before you go, I have to ask, because you were in New England, and obviously all eyes in the NFL are going to be on this week. I mean, come on. It's like, how do you not? So what was it like, man? I mean, there has to at least be some ear-to-ground chatter about Brady coming back to New England this week.
Oh, for sure. And I think Belichick handled it well. There was very little talk, I think, among the people around New England, around like the organization, like the players and stuff. I just don't think guys look that far ahead. Yeah, they might know peripherally, or they've got their phone like, oh yeah, Brady's coming next week. But that's not going to deter you from a game plan or anything like that. I don't think coaches like Bill and Sean don't let their teams really get into those modes, I think, for the most part. But you talk to fans, you talk to anybody that is a writer for the team, you talk to broadcasters, That's all anybody's worried about. And if they had won yesterday, then maybe it'd be a little bit of a different narrative. Oh, Mac Jones, he's off to a 2-1 start. Instead, you've seen the offense sputter a little bit, and now Brady's going to be coming in off a loss. Same mentality as Belichick and Peyton. He's not a guy who typically puts bad performances together consecutively. So what kind of fire is he going to come in with? There's going to be a lot of emotion, and if things play out the way the story has already been kind of written out for the first couple of graphs, it might be an impressive performance from Tom Brady next Sunday night.
He is Adam Amin, Fox Sports, on Twitter at Adam Amin. Always good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Hey, man, always appreciate you making time. I'm sure you'll have the Saints again, and I'll bother you again, but we do appreciate it.
Never bother, brother. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, man. Be well. That is Adam Amin. Awesome stuff. Been a really good friend. I mean, ever since he's with Fox now, he's doing NFL games. Awesome. But when he was at ESPN, he did everything from NFL and NBA and college football to he would call. I got to know Adam when he was doing regional baseball games. And that's when we first met him and connected. So I always appreciate him spending time. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, and on the antiagingclinics.com. Hormone replacement therapy. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, the antiagingclinics.com. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy that can safely supplement you to get you to healthy levels, if it's testosterone or if it's growth hormone or whatever it might be in your body that's causing an imbalance and contributing to the way you feel. They can help. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Voted the nation's best aesthetic practice. That happened at the National Aesthetic Show in Las Vegas. Incredible. And they're right here in Baton Rouge. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We do know what time LSU and Kentucky are going to kick off next week in Lexington as the SEC has announced those kickoff times. More from Ed Orgeron. We'll get to some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets. You got feedback, you want to get it in, do it. Right now, we'll continue on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Ichiban Essen near Perkins. Voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. And, of course, from our friends at Ichiban, their latest concept is Boru Ramen in Electric Depot on Government Street. Now, Boru is closed on Monday, so I don't want to go too deep because it's Monday and they're not open right now. But I wanted to share this with you. I got this text in the show from a gentleman named David. He said, Matt, I wanted to thank you for recommending Boru. I came over from Lafayette last week to meet my daughter for lunch. Took your recommendation. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you. Boru, all-weather indoor and outdoor, well, indoor, of course, but all-weather patio dining outdoors. And it's fast. It's convenient. It's casual. It's affordable. And it is delicious. It's Boru Ramen. Handmade noodles, authentic Japanese ramen right there in Electric Depot on Government Street. So, Ichiban or Boru, two great restaurants from the same family.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns. making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Again, a big week for improvement. We're nowhere near the football team that we want to be, but we're getting there. We took the next step. We got to take a big step this week with a bigger time opponent coming in.
It is interesting how we go into a season with certain ideas that we think are reality, and then as it plays out, some of those shift. For example, I mean, Texas A&M was a preseason top 5 team, and you go play out the schedule, and then you realize that as soon as Haynes King, their quarterback, was injured, and Zach Calzada went in against Colorado, A&M was not a threat offensively at all. A&M was also a team that, coming into this season, you could look at them losing 4 starters on the offensive line, but one of the narratives at SEC Media Days was, look, they're losing a lot of starters, but the guys behind them are actually like the 4- and 5-star guys that are projected to be NFL talent. Well, until you go and do it, you aren't that. You aren't deserving of that label, and you're seeing that right now for a Texas A&M team that is really good defensively. I mean, it's obviously just very elite defensively, but they're being asked to do a ton. Watching Texas A&M feels a lot like watching some of those Les Miles teams that had dominant running backs, elite level defense, and just no passing game of which to speak. That's what Texas A&M is. And if they can't add that dimension, they're probably going to be a 9-3, 8-4 type team, that perpetual purgatory where LSU seemed to be every year during the Les Miles era. Flip side of it is, you look at this Auburn team that LSU is going to face this week. Auburn came into this season, Vegas projected their win total at 7.5 was the over-under. They looked really good the first couple of weeks. Lost a tough game on the road against Penn State, but they punched it their own weight and really fought in that ball game and had a chance to win it. But lost, and then they had an emotional letdown this week against Georgia State. Now they come to Baton Rouge for a really tough one. I look at this LSU team right now, when we have a 4-game sample size, what we thought we knew coming in and what the reality has been. I think defensively, at each level, the pass rush is probably better than we thought it would be. The linebacker play, I think, we're really going to find out this week, because what we know about guys like Damone Clark and Baskerville is that, well, let me just say Damone Clark at this point. Certainly Mike Jones, a guy that could run sideline to sideline, certainly could cover, but their problem was playing inside. Well, this is going to be a game where you're physically tested between the tackles. This is a Micah Baskerville game. This is potentially a Bug Strong type game where those guys who are true inside backers fit. Secondary, I think, should be fine this week because Auburn has really struggled to throw. Auburn fired its wide receivers coach yesterday. They have really struggled to get things going in the passing game, and LSU's long athletic corners should do fine. This is a bully ball type game. But, when I look at LSU's schedule and you go game by game, you could make a case, for LSU in almost any game. Could LSU beat Auburn at home? Yeah, I mean, they're a 3.5-point favorite at home this weekend over Auburn. A team that lost to Penn State and darn near lost on its home field to Georgia State. Could LSU go to Kentucky and win? Look, Kentucky has a massive game this week. Kentucky's playing Florida this week in a game that, the reason that I thought Kentucky-South Carolina would be close was this was a look-ahead spot for Kentucky because they are so stoked out of their minds for Florida coming in. Remember, Kentucky lost for 30 years straight. I think it was the second longest losing streak for a team in the NCAA. It was behind Notre Dame Navy, which got to almost 50 games. But Kentucky-Florida was the longest losing streak in the country. And Kentucky finally ended that streak a couple of years ago, but they're outside of their mind. So Kentucky's going to be sky high this week, and then LSU's coming there to Lexington next week. Can they get up 2 weeks in a row? I don't know. Could LSU go to Lexington and win? Absolutely they could. Now, LSU will come home and play Florida. I think that's a very tough game. You know how I feel about them going to Ole Miss and to Bama. Look at Arkansas. I mean, we came into the season looking at the Arkansas Razorbacks as a team that might get to 500. It would be a great season if they could win a bowl game, get to a bowl game. Well, they blasted both Texas and Texas A&M. Sam Pittman's got them playing great football right now. Maybe not a talent-rich roster full of NFL draft picks, but a team playing well together. Is Arkansas capable of coming to Baton Rouge and winning? Absolutely they are. Could LSU beat Arkansas in Baton Rouge? Absolutely they can. And then, of course, UL Monroe, and then same questions persist for Texas A&M. I guess the whole point that I'm getting at here is a lot of times we want to just jump to the last chapter and read the end of the book when you have to let it play out. And that's kind of where we are with this LSU team right now. This is a very, very difficult schedule. Every game I just rolled through, I could make the case against LSU winning it. But they're also capable, I think, of beating everybody on their schedule, I think, except two. I don't think they can win at Ole Miss, and I don't think they can win at Bama. I think those are two games that this LSU team is not going to be capable of winning because I don't think they're going to be able to keep pace with those two teams. So every other game, they're capable of winning. So I think if you ask me a ceiling at this point, I'd still tell you 9-3. It would take a Herculean effort to get there, but is it possible? Sure, it's possible. It'd be fun to watch how this team can develop. But the flip side is also true. Is Auburn capable of winning in Baton Rouge? Sure they are. Is Kentucky capable of winning a home game against LSU? Absolutely. Could LSU lose at home to Florida? Sure they could. Could Arkansas come to Baton Rouge and win? Yeah. I don't think it's realistic to think LSU wins out. I also don't think it's realistic to think they're going to lose out. How these games go, these swing games, where I can't remember a year where LSU had more that felt like this. It felt like coin flips. It felt like 50-50 games. And than what they're facing right now. And it's just going to be a critically important year for this program, for this this staff, for the future of this program as a whole, how they roll through these games. Because if they manage to make it through and win more of these 50-50 games, and they're sitting there maybe at 9-3 at the end of this year, and you've got wins over Auburn and Kentucky and Florida and maybe A&M. I mean, that's a huge building block considering where you started with the loss to UCLA and how badly that looked. And and we've talked about this a bunch, reinforcements are coming in this coming recruiting class. The NCAA is going to approve the roster, the roster support, allowing the expanded signing classes to allow for the potentially additional 7 for the transfer portal match for match. So you're going to be able to build your roster even more. And I've said this since the summer that I think next year, 2022, is the year where LSU could really compete with junior Max Johnson, junior Keishon Butte, junior Elias Ricks, junior Jaquelin Roy, B.J. Ojolari. When all those guys who got so much valuable playing experience last year are juniors. I think that's the team where you look next year and go, that team could make a run. But so much of that depends on how they finish this year. It's a big one this week with Auburn coming in, obviously, as it always is. And I love the Auburn game. And something else we're going to do this week throughout is we are going to look back 20 years, because 2001 LSU Auburn was just a massively critical moment in this era of LSU football. It was as Nick Saban was starting the turnaround process, and that game was supposed to be played the weekend of September the 11th, and of course that got postponed, and it was moved to December, and it ended up being a de facto SEC West championship game with the winner going to Atlanta, and of course LSU won that game in Tiger Stadium that day and went on a week later and beat Tennessee, and number 2 Tennessee went on to the Sugar Bowl and beat Illinois, and that was sort of the springboard. That was the first great moment in this program's turnaround, and it's 20 years ago when LSU played Auburn in Baton Rouge, and we're certainly going to spend a good portion of the week this week talking about that game and talking to guys who played in it as well, and I am excited about that. So I don't know if there are plans to honor the 0-1 team this week. I really wish they were, and I know it's difficult, obviously, because the coach is coaching Alabama right now, but the guys on that team from Rowe and Michael Clayton and the freshman class with Marcus Spears and Marquise Hill, and just so many great players on that 2001 team. Ryan Clark was obviously a key part of that secondary. Josh Reed, who won the Biletnikoff. Just such an amazing team that hit their stride in in the second half of that season, won the SEC, won the Sugar Bowl, and really made this fan base believe that those types of wins were possible for this program, which had a dearth of that for the better part of a decade prior. So a really cool week. If you love the Auburn game and you love the history of LSU football, you get a lot of that this week, as a lot's on the line as you look back at the great history of this series and then what this game could mean for LSU this season springboarding forward. All right, it's after further review. Jimmy Ott's going to join us for Otter Locks. Big tip of the cap to Michelli. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. They were great sponsors of ours on Whiskey and Wine this past weekend. I just love local businesses, man. I love supporting local businesses, especially those that support us. And Michelli's been around since 1947. They've continued to grow. They're our nation's largest distributor of scales. They're right there in Harahan, but they've expanded. And they have offices and calibration labs all over the country. They're in more than 20 states, but they're still locally owned and operated. You walk into Michelli right there in Harahan. You walk into the front door, the first door on the left, that's Joel McMullen. I mean, the president and CEO of the company. His office is right there in the lobby when you walk in with an open door. I mean, it's just an amazing company, how they've grown but maintained that feel. I respect it tremendously, and they do great work. Michelli.com for Michelli Weighing and Measurement. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, one thing left to do. Got to welcome Jimmy on here for Otter Locks. I'll find out what he's thinking tonight for the Eagles and the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, see if he's got any baseball plays as well. We'll wrap up with Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Tigers are back in Tiger Stadium this weekend. That means if you are getting to the LSU-Auburn game, make sure that you have your proof of vaccination. Or if not, make sure you have your negative PCR test. You can get that at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, especially at their Express Care location. So bordering campus, just through the south gates, right there on Highland Road, or on Nicholson, directly across from Tiger Stadium, you'll see the Baton Rouge General Express Care location. They are open on game day, but don't procrastinate. I mean, it's LSU Auburn. There's going to be a huge crowd out at campus this weekend. Get it taken care of early this week, courtesy of the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. The Baton Rouge General Hospital, of course, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. What that means for you is that your physician here gets access to their world-class research and collaboration with world-class physicians and experts in their field at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org. Again, online at brgeneral.org.
In most cases, you'll never get more for your trade-in than right now at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. Now's your chance to upgrade. You can pre-order your new Toyota today or choose one of our pre-owned vehicles and we'll buy back your current vehicle at a price that will absolutely amaze you. You can walk away with more money in your pocket than you ever thought possible. At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, that's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks
have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auction.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Always love telling you about GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. We'll get to Otter Locks in just a quick second, but remember, home buy, refi, construction loans, GMFS Mortgage does all of it. Post Ida, if you need disaster recovery assistance as well, GMFS Mortgage. Home renovation loan options are available, gmfsmortgage.com. Or maybe you just want to change your life financially, GMFS Mortgage can make it happen. Refinance that mortgage, lower your monthly mortgage payment. Incredible options with GMFS Mortgage. gmfsmortgage.com, changing lives. Okay, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Clark Crane Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in St. Francisville. Because a great deal is worth a short drive to Clark Crane.
What's up, Otter?
Hey, Matthew. How about you? How's it going, buddy? We're over here at Bruce Creole tonight. My buddy Clint Stockwell, one of his best buddies.
Hey.
Robert Cox is one of our favorite drivers around town and very close to a lot of us. And we're sending him off. He's going back to Austin to kind of take care of his parents. So special night over here over at Bruce Creole.
Very good. Very good. Well, tell old Bob Cox we said hello and wish him all the best. Hope y'all have a great night. Rouge is a great spot over there in Perkins Row. So
it's wonderful.
Otter, we got a couple of minutes here. So Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Eagles. What are we thinking?
I'm not going to lie to you. This is not my favorite game tonight. This line is going back and forth this today between 3 and 3.5. Cowboys 79% of the handle on the money line, 70% of the spread handle according to Bet Rivers. But the thing is, it's just a tough spot here. I'm not a big the Jalen Hurts fan. Just looks at the primary guy and checks off. He looks at him and then tucks it and runs. Prescott's played pretty good. I thought they got some calls, 2 touchdowns called back against the Chargers in a win on Sunday. But the 3.5, I'm kind of torn on that. So I'm going to look to the total, and the unders have hit 11-4 this week in the NFL. It's a very small opinion on the under tonight on the 51.5, which is a big number. Several of these games have crept into the 50s now, which is a regularity now in the NFL. Nothing like last year when they refused to call holding. And they had these things almost in the 60s. But dogs 8-7 this week after a much more decided advantage the first 2 weeks of the NFL. It's a tough game. This is going to be right around the run. If you do like teasers, you want to open one up, maybe with the Eagles. That's something that we suggested on Thursday night with Carolina. It closed out pretty comfortably with Cleveland on Sunday. But I like just a little bit of the under on this one, under 51.5.
All right. Otter, we appreciate it. Have a great show tonight, man.
Thank you, Matt. All right, bud. Bye.
Jimmy Ott follows us here with Game Time. Muse, what did you learn today?
Adam Amin has no time for Twitter trolls.
It's mine, too. Paulie, what did you learn?
Cole Cubelic was still playing at Auburn whenever the last time that they won in Baton Rouge.
I can't believe you didn't know that. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you.
AFR.
Reminding you about HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. I always tell you, do business with someone you know. That's our slogan at HUDCO. Ignore the door knockers. Ignore the out-of-towners. Do business with someone you know. People who were here before the storm, who will be here long after the storm. Louisiana born, bred, using Louisiana certainteed shingles. It's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. And, of course, people who bring you an amazing jingle like this one. Muso, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me.
HUDCO Roofing. HUDCO Roofing. When you need a roof, call someone you know. Moscona, Ontario.
All you need is HUDCO.
HUDCO Roofing. HUDCO Roofing. Call HUDCO Roofing.
364-1007.
All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. Need repair? Our service department is ready and available to help you today. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs.